This is WKYT News.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Valentino. Thanks for joining us here on WKYT and streaming on WKYT Plus on this First Alert Weather Day. That's why we want to get you straight to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. Chris, a very wild weather ride ahead the next 24 hours. But first, what do folks need to be aware of as we head into the overnight?
We're a couple of hours away, generally 3 o'clock or so, that time period when things are going to get a little rough and tumble across parts of central Kentucky. Already starting to see that to our west in terms of severe weather. Now, there is a current tornado watch for all the real estate in red. I expect at any moment to get a few counties east of that added into this. This likely now should go east of Interstate 75. This goes until 3 in the morning. Tornado warnings are out for several counties back here. All of a sudden, we got 3 separate tornado warnings that have been issued. The new one just now gets into northern parts of Bowling Green, and that is for northern sections of Warren County. This line of severe thunderstorms is racing its way to the east and the northeast with a major damaging wind threat. Embedded within this, you're getting little spins. The overall structure of this line can spit out 60 to 70 mile per hour straight line winds without a tornado. But embedded within this line, we're seeing little spins that are showing up, and typically you get that with a thunderstorm line like this, especially along such an impressive temperature gradient that is showing up across Kentucky. Let's go into the areas under the tornado warning. That goes from just to the southwest of E-Town, southern parts of Hardin County through the Litchfield area, and now all the way back toward Morgantown, and then a separate tornado warning has just been added to this on the south end of it. Here's the storm in question. We're looking inside this in southwest of Litchfield. It is right here where this possible tornado is, the Welch's Creek area. That's going to make a beeline toward the Litchfield area, and eventually that northeastern trajectory would take that into the Hardin County area. Farther to the south, new tornado warning has been issued with this cell to the northwest of Bowling Green between Morgantown and Bowling Green. That's a separate cell, but it's embedded within that same line, lifting its way quickly to the east and the northeast. So the tornado sirens are sounding in numerous counties out here across Interstate 65. Farther to the south, you got severe thunderstorm warnings that are out for a number of counties in central Tennessee. The line of severe thunderstorms actually goes from Fort Wayne, where you got tornado warnings, all the way to near the Gulf Coast. That goes into central parts of Louisiana. This is just part of a major storm system that has springtime air out ahead of it, with temperatures 70s right now into parts of central and eastern Kentucky, and then a blizzard behind this with Arctic air that is making its way on into town. And leading the charge today, the first charge from this major storm, today's winds. We had gusts around 50 miles an hour. Meteorologist Ben Beddoes is out with those winds right now. And Ben, you're noticing that temperature is still really, really mild. And I think you remarked earlier that, hey, it just kind of feels like something is about to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, Chris, it really does feel like that. You know, we got temperatures right now 65, 70 degrees. It's 11 o'clock on a mid-March night. Typically, when you got all that together, something's going to happen. And those winds are really cranking as well. Occasionally, I've had to go over to the camera and hold it in place, make sure it doesn't fall over, blow over. I mean, the winds are a real deal out here. The winds continue to be pretty gusty out ahead of what is going to be a line of storms that is not too far away. And, of course, damaging winds is going to be the main threat with these storms as they come through in the next 2, 3, 4 hours, and could even see the chance of a few tornadoes as well. Quick spin up says we're already seeing several warnings to the west of us. Got that tornado watch out until 3 a.m. west of Lexington, but we'll probably be adding on to that, I would suspect, as we get into these next couple hours or so. But the winds certainly are a real deal, and you know, I'm out here in a short sleeve shirt. You're not going to be able to get away with that as we get into tomorrow morning. When you head to work tomorrow morning, we were talking about temperatures that are going to be a good 30, 35 degrees colder. Those wind chills, 40, 45 degrees colder than where we are right now. So it is going to be drastic. And in between that, of course, is a line of storms that's going to be coming into our area, and we're going to continue to keep watch that as we go here into these next couple hours. But live outside of the WKYT studios, I'm Ben Beddoes. WKYT.
All right, Ben, thank you. Stay safe. We'll see you back in here in just a little bit. But again, the active squall line of thunderstorms is just about to get to Interstate 65. We got numerous counties that are under severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Those get as close by as Bowling Green and E-Town. And the trajectory on this is to the east and northeast. These thunderstorms are racing in here. So just after the midnight hour, we're going to have to deal with those into parts of our viewing area. And obviously, Samantha, we're going to be here all night long until the severe weather threat is no longer with us. We'll take a look at the winter weather aspect of this that comes in behind this mess as early as tomorrow morning when I come back in just a few minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. And this is a night where you are going to want to stay weather aware. So if you haven't already, make sure to download our free First Alert weather app. Just scan that QR code on your screen right now to download it. That way you can get forecast alerts sent right to your device.
Live, local, trusted. Follow WKYT News on Facebook. Now, WKYT First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Well, we continue to watch tornado watch that is out just to the west of Lexington, and this very well can get expanded a few counties farther east over the next little bit. Let's take a look at that watch that goes until 3 o'clock in the morning. That goes all the way down into Tennessee and extends as far north as north central sections of Indiana. This goes until 3. Tornado warnings are everywhere with this, from near Michigan all the way to Louisiana right now. It doesn't mean it's been constant, but we've got this is a whole line of thunderstorms, and embedded within that you get little kinks or little spins where you can get a hit and run tornado that can spin up, and that's what we're watching for. The red tornado warnings out here, that includes the Bowling Green area, Litchfield, over toward E-Town. And then another one to the northwest of Louisville into southern parts of Indiana. Surrounded by, in the yellow, those would be severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's go up close and personal on this squall line of thunderstorms that is just about into Louisville, coming up here within the next half hour or so, and should be into E-Town shortly too. Tornado warnings are out with this part of our line, racing to the east and northeast, and immediately when I look at this, I see two little kinks that are showing up. We got one that has been there for a little while between Bowling Green and Morgantown, and then another that is into southwestern parts of Grayson County, lifting to the east and northeast. And I had a report of a tornado a little bit ago near Caneyville out here into Grayson County. That has since lifted according to the report, but again, that spin is showing up, and if that holds together, would move toward Hardin County coming up here shortly. Even if we're not getting a tornado with this part of the line, and obviously we hope we are not, you're still going to have damaging winds that may be up to 70 miles per hour or a little greater. There's Bowling Green. There's the Woodbury area, and Morgantown is just to the northwest of this. That line is racing its way across northern parts of Warren County. Tornado warning south of Nashville. Other severe thunderstorm warnings going all the way from, again, now near Indianapolis. The northern edge of that is shutting down in terms of the severe weather. But look at this. Tornado warning almost on the Gulf Coast. Same storm system, and it has a blizzard behind it into sections of the Midwest and the Great Lakes. Just an absolutely amazing spring storm, because you're getting in on this flow ahead of it where temperatures right now are still in the 70s into parts of the Ohio Valley, and then behind it you're going below zero into the Plain States. Current winds today, we had them gusting to 50 miles an hour. Let me tell you, when this line gets into where you live, doesn't matter if it's losing its true severe weather characteristics, not exactly a severe thunderstorm, but the line itself is going to have 40 to 50 mile per hour winds all the way through eastern Kentucky tonight. Temperature-wise, 74 into Bowling Green. You see those colder colors immediately showing up behind that boundary. Let me show you something that is really, really wild to see. 67 for the current temperature into Lexington and Covington, 68 Columbus. It's 65 in Cleveland, yet into Michigan, those wind chills are in the 20s. We go into the teens into Kansas City, below zero, 16 below right now to parts of Minnesota and North Dakota. That is a true Arctic outbreak that is underway across the eastern half of the country. Unfortunately, it is also spawning the threat for severe weather. Find out where you are in this map, pinpoint where you are, and let's watch this future radar and watch our timeline. 1 o'clock in the morning. Now that severe weather threat is almost to Frankfort. We're almost into Danville and toward the Harrodsburg area. Now by 2 o'clock in the morning, The worst of the weather is trying to focus a little farther to the south where you got better dynamics. So you're going to see that line of thunderstorms that can impact London, Corbin, Somerset, maybe a little stronger than areas north of 64. 3 o'clock in the morning. Notice it's starting to lose a little steam. Still gets into eastern Kentucky with some big time 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Now we get rid of that. Look what we queue up for the day tomorrow. Snow, snow showers, snow squalls. Kiddos, there's a chance tomorrow afternoon for a little thunder and lightning to show up with one of these snow squalls that can cause some light accumulations. Absurd is kind of what we're dealing with right now. A few days ago, I called this pattern stupid because it really is when you're dealing with near 80-degree temperatures today and then readings that will be so much colder over the next few days. But we're going to bounce it back up toward the 70s by the end of the week. But we got to keep an eye on the middle of the night, those thunderstorms getting into central Kentucky. And of course, we'll be here to keep you up to date, keep you safe all night long.
Absolutely. And we really appreciate you.
Yep.
It's unfortunate that these storms tend to happen, like you said, in the overnight hours and also on the weekends.
There's never a good time for severe weather.
No.
There is an absolute worst time. It's in the middle of the night when it's dark. You can't see what's going on. And let's face it, most folks are asleep or wanting to be asleep.
Absolutely. Chris, thank you again.
You bet. Welcome back in, everybody. I want to keep you up to date on the severe weather that is unfolding here to our west. All kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings now lining up from just to the west of Louisville into E-Town and Point South. We've had winds out here gusting close to 70 miles per hour. Those are some official gusts that have been recorded. Everything in red here would be a tornado warning, a newly issued tornado warning. Gets up into southern parts of Bullitt County, northwestern sections of the Nelson County area into Bardstown, just to the northwest of Bardstown. E-Town, we got 2 separate tornado warnings. It is this part of the cell, though, that continues to make its way through. And obviously, if we get a tornado warning heading into the overnight, those are the need to knows. Nothing in our region right now, but I can tell you as these storms race to the east-northeast up the BG Parkway, potential is there to pop a warning or two as we go into the middle of the night. And behind all this comes this massive surge of cold air. Gusty winds going to be along this line, 60 to 70 miles per hour possibility. We'll be here all night long for you to keep you up to date and keep you safe. And we're going to be streaming on WKYT Plus as well. So keep it right here. And if we get any warnings in our region, we'll break in and let you know immediately. Hey everybody, Chris Bailey with you. Hope you're enjoying your overnight hours now. Here we are with the first alert weather day. Severe thunderstorms are racing across I-65 and are heading toward the Bluegrass region. They're going to start to lose some steam the farther east that they get. Still, though, losing a little bit of steam means these storms are still going to be packing a punch. What we're dealing with right now, all the counties that are shaded in the yellow are under severe thunderstorm warnings, and we have one lone tornado warning that is left in what was a host of counties that were under various tornado warnings a little bit ago. Now we've got a tornado watch that has been expanded through 5 in the morning for the entire Lexington metro. Now it's not going to make that expiration time. That line will be through here way before 5 a.m. But that current watch goes until 5 o'clock in the morning and does include Richmond, Lexington, Paris, Georgetown, Frankfort, over into Carlisle, Nicholas County, Winchester included in this, and down we go into Lincoln County and Casey County. Farther to the north and northeast, that's a severe thunderstorm watch for the AA highway corridor of northern northeastern parts of Kentucky. That'll go until 4 a.m. First Alert Radar Network, destructive winds with this. You're getting hurricane force wind gusts along this line of severe thunderstorms as it races in from southwest to northeast, where you've got the leading edge of what is a bow here. That is where we're likely getting the worst of the winds with those severe thunderstorm warnings that go from Jefferson County down into areas around Bloomfield there into Nelson County. Spencer County, Shelby County were included in that, and that tornado warning gets close to our immediate coverage area. That is down the Bluegrass Parkway into western parts of Washington County and northwestern parts of Marion County. Lebanon not technically included in that. What we're dealing with is along this line, you're getting little bitty kinks or where you can get a quick spin up of a tornado or two. Now, regardless of whether or not you get a tornado, you're going to have winds that can reach 70 miles an hour or a little greater. So this line, as it makes its way through the Mount Washington area towards southern parts of Jefferson County, over towards Spencer County, and there's the Bloomfield area, and there's a new tornado warning that is now in effect along the northern edge of this line. That gets into far western parts of Franklin County. So now we're going to start to get in on the tornado siren sounding into Frankfort, but that tornado warning only gets into a small part of southwestern parts of Franklin County. Shelbyville into Shelby County, down to Taylorsville and Mount Washington, Bullitt County, far southeastern Jefferson County. We are included in that. So if you're just now waking up, all of a sudden your phone's alerting you to a tornado warning here into Franklin County. That is for the southwestern part of Franklin County, and it's on the leading edge of this line. And right here is what we're dealing with, just to the south of Mount Washington. And boy, that is really spiked up. And in a lot of cases in a setup like this, what we're doing here, we're looking at the winds inside this, where you see the northern edge, almost the pinhead of a little line of thunderstorms. I've seen situations like this before spit out a weak tornado. That's the signature that we're dealing with. You can see how this line goes, and then all of a sudden you get a little increase in the reflectivity here, or not the reflectivity, but the winds that are really now starting to switch around here into the Mount Washington area. Here's Interstate 65. This would be the Louisville area right behind our banner, and just to the south of Mount Washington would be the possible tornado. That is right in here. And Ben, if we could just zoom in on this area, maybe take this radar just a little closer. There we go, so we can see maybe some place names here. But here's Shepherdsville into Bullitt County, and then the Mount Washington area is right over in here, and that is where we have that tornado warning that is out. So folks in Franklin County, Frankfort, you know what, we're likely getting in on our tornado sirens that are going off right now, but that does not include the Franklin County area. And behind all this, we got all kinds of rain that is ongoing, but there is your tornado warning that is out here in the Mount Washington. This is the Bloomfield area. This whole line from time to time right here where we're getting in on the change of colors here. That would indicate winds that are going in one direction, where you see the green. Winds in the red are going in the opposite direction. When it's in a linear fashion like this, chances are you're just getting in on true straight line winds. When you start to see a little kink in the line, just like what we're seeing here to the south of Mount Washington, that is indeed what we're dealing with that potential tornado here to the south of Mount Washington. So we're going to watch that. And then farther to the south, we've had a tornado warning with this particular cell near Bardstown. That is right on top of the Bluegrass Parkway. We can go and look inside this, and there you see just a small little kink that is essentially right on top here of the Bluegrass Parkway. That is the red line. This is Bardstown. There's the Boston area, which is not too far away from Hardin County, and then Bloomfield in the northern parts of Nelson County. So if we're getting a tornado with this, it would be right in this general direction on top of the Bluegrass Parkway. So there is a real chance now that we get this tornado warning that goes just into western parts of Washington County, western sections of Shelby County, or western sections of the Lebanon area, Marion County. That may get expanded a little farther to the east, so we'll keep a very close eye on that. But you can definitely see that kink that is showing up just to the southwest of Bardstown. There's the overall traditional radar view that you're used to seeing, showing the reflectivity of the rain inside that. I want to go back here to that tornado warning that is out around Mount Washington. We'll take you to show the extent of this particular warning. It only gets into a very small part of Franklin County. That would be right here. Here's Shelbyville. Here's the Interstate 64, and that tornado warning originates from that cell that is around Mount Washington, lifting its way to the northeast. Severe thunderstorm warnings with destructive winds that are out here across the Louisville metro. They've had saw a report of some power flashes that were showing up there just a little bit ago. But that overall thunderstorm that is producing 2 tornado warnings right now, that line of thunderstorms, the northern edge of this, without question, has the greatest potential to spin up something out of this. And where you see that little spike Well, those are some stout winds that are showing up here to the south of Mount Washington. So if we are getting a tornado out of this entire line, the greatest opportunity for that is showing up right in this general area. There's Interstate 65. Here's Mount Washington just along and south of 44 there near the Smithville area. Mount Washington 44 up toward Whitfield, and eventually, if this holds together, that would go into Spencer County, would get into areas of Shelby County, and potentially southwestern parts of Franklin County as well. So that's what we're dealing with on the northern edge. Now, the radar the sweep just went through there. So if we broaden this radar picture out a little bit, chances are that little notch that we were looking at zipped farther to the northeast very, very quickly. That's how fast these storms are moving. They are wasting zero time in rolling from southwest to northeast. So the overall structure of that particular storm right here, now you got a couple of little notches in there. So it may not be as pronounced as a moment ago, but that's typically what happens when you're talking about a line of severe thunderstorms. It's not like the supercell thunderstorms. You go back to last May when we were tracking that monstrous supercell thunderstorm producing a tornado across southern Kentucky. You could see the rotation very clearly, the entire life cycle of that storm. What we're dealing with here is more of a line where embedded within that line you get what may be a weak tornado that touches down, hit and run, and it's gone in just a matter of a minute or two. And so we're watching that potential now. Here's Shelbyville, there's Interstate 64, Simpsonville out by the malls there, or the outlet stores, I should say. That is heading in that general direction and may head into southwestern parts of Franklin County. And then overall, if we broaden this out a little more, Ben, there we go, to show the real estate where this warning is. If we can plot that warning and the expiration time on that, it goes into the southwest part of Franklin County. Here is Frankfort. Here's your warning. That includes Bullitt, Franklin, Henry, Spencer, Shelby, and part of Jefferson County. So it does clip southern parts of Jefferson County. That is with that overall line. But again, Franklin County, you're going to hear the tornado sirens going off across the entire county as of right now. This only gets into that far southwestern corner of Franklin County that is just to the north of the interstate. As you cross over into Shelby County, then all of a sudden you're going to find yourselves in a little greater threat area with this. The worst of that particular area is heading towards Shelby County from southwest to northeast. Now, farther to the south, we've been watching this line that continues to spit out all kinds of damaging winds. We've seen reports out of this line for its entire life cycle into western Kentucky of up to 60 and 70 miles per hour for sustained winds, or I should say wind gusts. Sustained winds within that, likely for a couple of minutes, maybe up there 40 to 50 miles per hour. Here's the Bardstown storm that we're dealing with right now, and we can look at this and show you what we are looking at inside this. So it's still got that little bit of a notch. So you see we're dealing with the winds, straight line damaging winds. This is the straight line damaging wind signature that you see here. Then all of a sudden, notice how you get this little appendage right in here, and there may be another one just to the north of that. Those are areas where you can get that quick hit and run weak tornado to spin up, and it may only be on the ground for a matter of a minute or two. But the greatest concentration that caused the National Weather Service to issue that new tornado warning has been on the northern side of this. But you look at the entire life or the entire span of this particular line of severe thunderstorms. What you're looking at within this are those winds that are just absolutely crushing it to the east and northeast. Now see, a new severe thunderstorm warning has just popped out that goes all the way into the Bluegrass region. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. Then we can plot that and show folks the expiration time on this. This goes into Scott County, into Franklin County, into Woodford County. That would be Anderson County, Mercer County, small part of Boyle County, and gets over into the Willisburg and Springfield areas of Washington County and part of Marion County too. That'll go until 1 a.m. Now that's a severe thunderstorm warning. That is for that cell that is coming out of the Bardstown area right along the Bluegrass Parkway and rolling its way to the northeast. I guarantee you they've tagged that with a possible tornado since they had a warning with this. So they're electing not to extend that, right, Ben?
They did do that, and they also tagged it as considerable, so you got damaging winds that could hit 70 miles per hour with the storm as well. So
yeah, and
it's got those high winds in there as well.
Right, and you look at the trajectory on that, and that's going to be right across the Bluegrass region coming up within the next hour. So again, a setup like this, you don't need a tornado to cause a lot of wind damage. You can get hurricane force winds with this particular line as it continues to roll its way very quickly from southwest to northeast, and the overall view has more of those showers and thunderstorms that extend farther to the south. So folks here in the southern Kentucky, what we're going to be looking out for over the next little bit would be for some additional severe thunderstorm warnings to potentially come out here across southern parts of Kentucky. But it is impressive to be looking at this particular line, Ben, with severe thunderstorm warnings that go from Michigan all the way down to just about the Gulf Coast. Now, you were outside a little bit ago for our 10 and 11. You know it doesn't feel right out there, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you got those winds that are kicking. It's warm out there. It's got that feel that something's coming. For sure.
Right.
That's exactly what we are seeing.
Yeah, you got a true wintertime impact coming in behind this storm as it makes its way into the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley. It's dragging that cold front into our part of the world, leading to all these damaging winds and also the threat for severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. And if we look at this particular view, notice how you've got almost a little hint of that entire Boeing segment trying to show up here. And embedded within that, I still watch that little notch bend to the northeast of Bardstown that's pretty prominent on the radar. So not only have you got that little backward sea here, but it is this area right in here to the northeast of Bardstown, where if we are going to get a little spin with this, that would be heading toward the Bloomfield area, which is into northeastern parts of Nelson County. So that's the area that likely has the greatest potential for that quick hit and run weak tornado. And rolling its way right up the Bluegrass Parkway toward Bloomfield, and eventually, if you're watching us right now, into Anderson County. You got to keep a close eye on that storm as it makes its way in from southwest to northeast. So Shelbyville into western parts of Franklin County, we have that tornado warning. So folks into Frankfort right now, you may be tuning us in because your tornado sirens are going off. This is only, as of now, a tornado warning for the far southwestern corner of Franklin County. For downtown Frankfort, we are under a severe thunderstorm warning that's going to take us until 1 o'clock because you got damaging winds coming in here. This is one of those that as this line makes its way through your particular area, treat it as if we do have a tornado warning that is out, because 70-mile-per-hour winds, you don't want to be caught if you're in a two-story home or larger. You don't want to be caught upstairs because that's where the winds are going to be higher. So as this line gets ready to roll across where you live, do me a solid. Try to get down to the lowest floor just to be on the safe side, because those winds, Ben, when you're talking about a hurricane force gust potential, you're going to cause some damage with that. You don't necessarily need a tornado for damage out of this, do you?
Right, and people tend to forget that sometimes, that severe thunderstorm winds, yeah, that could be just as strong as a weak tornado. So it's very important that, especially when you got these considerable tag with the severe thunderstorm warning, yeah, you got, just put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, get to that lowest level of your home as well. Treat it as if it is a tornado warning. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, a tornado, winds, straight line winds, they both going to do damage. But here you go with the current warnings that are out. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings in the yellow. Those are the tornado warnings in the red. Now, this particular tornado warning is about to expire in just a matter of a few minutes. That's why that new warning downstream has been extended. That is a tornado or a severe thunderstorm warning with a possible tornado tag on that. The actual tornado warning that we have is into Spencer County, Shelby County, southwestern parts of the Franklin County area. So tornado watch goes until 5 o'clock in the morning. Listen, this is never going to see the 5 a.m. expiration time, all right? This threat will be in and out of here before 3 o'clock rolls around into the Bluegrass region by far. That's going to be into eastern Kentucky, and the farther east those storms get, they're going to weaken. fingers crossed they weaken sooner rather than later, right? Into northern northeastern Kentucky until 4 o'clock. That is a severe thunderstorm watch that is out into that area. So they elected not to extend that tornado watch into northeastern Kentucky, but more of a severe thunderstorm warning. Looking at this, when I just take a step back and I see the overall picture of everything, this again continues to look more like a damaging wind signature than anything else. And these storms are entering into a time frame where a lot of these are going to begin to diminish somewhat. Now, a diminished thunderstorm doesn't mean it can't produce some damage or even a weak tornado. It just means, or tornado, it just means that the overall strength of the entire line is slowly coming down farther east that we get. And we continue to watch this line and for some little kinks that are showing up on this. Ben, if we could throw the velocities on this, I just want to look and see inside this, the whole mess here, see what we're dealing with. So the northern edge of this is where that tornado warning is, and we're watching this area north of Bloomfield coming out of Nelson County on the BG Parkway. And again, more straight line than anything, but these small little kinks that will be embedded in a line like this can all of a sudden sneak up on you. You get one sweep to go through, you see it, put out the tornado warning, next sweep goes by, it's gone, or vice versa. Ben, these are not the typical supercell thunderstorm tornadoes that folks are accustomed to seeing.
Yeah, it's accustomed that squall line that you see.
And these are incredibly hard to pick out because they are truly hit and run, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. And, I just want to mention, too, the National Weather Service in Louisville is reporting they got a 73-mile-per-hour wind gust from a spotter in Mount Washington. So,
wow.
You got some strong wind gusts, certainly with this storm that's coming through now.
So essentially you have winds that are gusting to hurricane force, 70 to 75 miles an hour. Do you get an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust out of this? It's a possibility. But looking at this whole structure, the initial tornado warning that is out right now that goes up into Shelbyville and goes into the southwestern corner of Franklin County was for what was a little kink in that line that had more to it about 5 minutes ago than as of right now. This is a little more diffuse, Ben. It's not as wound up on the northern edge of this.
Yeah, it's kind of broadened out a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, but you still got very high wind signatures associated with it too.
You do. When you start to see the bright colors like this, it's screaming. The winds are absolutely cranking, and as this gets across some of those Kentucky mesonet sites, those are some of the unofficial but yet official recording stations that we have set up across the Bluegrass State through the Kentucky mesonet, folks. Those give us real-time data. We've seen gusts up to 70 miles an hour. That'll be heading into Shelbyville coming up here very, very shortly. And to the south of this, you've got the severe thunderstorm warnings that get into parts of central Kentucky. So this is one of those nights to where, folks, you're likely to be jolted out of bed a time or two by your phone throwing a warning at you, or the tornado sirens that may be going off as well. And Ben, we tell folks all the time, there's never a good time for severe weather, but there is an absolute worst time. And that's right now in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
for obvious reasons.
Never good when you got this kind of situation going on. We think about some of the stuff that we've seen in the past few years. The timing of those strong tornadoes, they've happened right in the middle of the night. So, especially with the storm that is coming very quickly, that's going to be something that is. Yeah, we've got to be mindful of.
Yeah, right. And, if you're under the tornado warning, listen, you guys have been through this. We've been through this time or two together over the years. You know what? We're just going to keep our heads and stay calm, and we're going to get through this and be okay. Seek a safe shelter. Safest place to be is a basement. I go to schools all the time, and I say, all right, who's got a basement? Some kids, we raise our hands. Others, we don't. Okay, kiddos, for those who don't have a basement, you're in an area right now where the tornado sirens are going off. Just remember what we talk about every time we get to the lowest floor, and we put as many walls between where we are and the outside as you can. That is the key, all right, is putting as many walls between where you are and the outside. And above all else, we protect our head. You got an old bicycle helmet. We're going to put it on. You got an old football helmet, a batting helmet, a hard hat. We're going to throw that on. So the safest place to be, here's a little visual for you, in a tornado. we're going to go to the areas of green here. You avoid those outside walls. So the object is to get into that interior hall or the stairs or a closet. Again, you got more walls between you and the possible tornado outside, right? And then you're thinking, wait a minute, now this bathroom is on that outside wall. Well, the bathroom, we got so many heavy pipes that are going up through the walls of a bathroom that it offers added protection. But you want to be away from windows, and without question, Ben, safest place to be is in a basement if you have a tornado. But as you know, not everybody does.
Yep, looks like we just got an additional severe thunderstorm warning that popped up as well along this line. Taking a look at that.
Yeah, I would imagine we're going to get just a ton of these warnings.
It's taking up a good deal of real estate now.
Yeah, this down here in southern Kentucky, that new warning that gets into Taylor County. I see Greene County, I see Adair County, I see down into Cumberland County, Clinton County, Cumberland County, back over to Monroe County, and all the way into Warren County. So we got this whole line that is racing through here with a damaging wind threat. And that tornado warning continues in effect for this part. It goes up into Henry County, as far southern parts of Henry County, but a very small part of that. Ben, let's go in on this and just see what we can find inside this particular storm, see if it's still got just a hint of some rotation with it. This is more of a damaging wind signature that is zipping on through this particular area. And there you go with the storm in Shelbyville. You see those brighter colors that are racing now to the east-northeast. I'm not seeing, when this warning came out, you could see that definite little kink in the line, which meant you had winds that were going in opposite directions right around one another. You still have just a hint of that, but this is more linear than anything else, which suggests those straight line winds that are going to just come rushing out of this particular line of thunderstorms as it races its way into Shelby County, and eventually that's going to get into the southwestern part of Franklin County. So here in Franklin County and over into Shelby County, we got the tornado sirens that are blaring, but you're going to follow your tornado precautions. You're going to follow those tornado safety rules. But here into Franklin County, it is only for a small part of this. So up around Peaks Mill, you know what, or downtown Frankfort, those lines may be going, but or the sirens may be going, but the actual warning itself is only into this small little sliver of real estate here, Ben. And
it's also about to expire as well. Expires at 12:30, so we're about to get there. Haven't added any new tornado warnings to this, so
which is a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. And you know, this is about the time of the night and about the location, Ben, when the forecast models were suggesting that as this got closer to I-75, it was going to start to run out of a little steam. Doesn't mean it completely runs out of steam. It just loses some compared to what it had an hour prior back around Interstate 65 or even farther to the west from that. So that's what we're watching. And the severe thunderstorm warnings that are shaded in the yellow continue to show up across parts of central Kentucky. And you've got that severe thunderstorm watch in the north and the severe thunderstorm watch in the northeastern Kentucky, tornado watch from the Bluegrass region and west-southwest. That is a lot of real estate. Now, I see our tornado warnings have expired, have been called off.
Good sign, yeah. But we still got, I mean, in that corridor there, anywhere from the Indiana-Kentucky border there all the way down to Danville, it's about to get pretty intense.
It is, and you see all the real estate in yellow. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. I see Gallatin County, Carroll County, Trimble County, over into Owen County. We're now included in that severe thunderstorm warning. But Ben, I want to go in right here. And if you could take us in on this particular cell, and we're going to hit the pause button on this, because when I see a leading edge that looks like this, the winds, when I see that, it just in the reflectivity, you know, you do this 28 years, you can kind of just look at the reflectivity on a storm and kind of visualize what's going on with it. But when I see that, it just screams to me. It's got major winds all of a sudden that are even higher than what it had before. So right here, Ben, look how sharp that is.
It is very distinctive there.
Very distinctive line here where you go from windy to all of a sudden everything breaking loose.
And yeah, looking at the
what we're
wind
dealing
speeds with this as well. We got readings here, you get into this more sand color kind of territory.
Yeah,
You're talking
right
about
in here.
70 plus mile an hour winds that are being detected on radar. So,
Which is why that we're kind of saying, you know what, let's treat these severe thunderstorm warnings like you would a tornado warning. Because a 70 mile per hour wind gust, Ben, or 75 miles an hour, it gets you into hurricane strength there. But that's similar to an EF0 or weak EF1 tornado.
I'll take a look at the.
Look at that. And that just gave us a new sweep, and you can still see almost that little kink that has been with this thing for the life cycle of it continues to show up right in here. So that's what we're watching. But yeah, there you go, Ben. There are your
Shelby
winds,
County.
right?
Yeah, that's where we're seeing potentially.
So you go from the
You
tan
got 80
here,
plus potentially showing up there.
potential for 80 plus mile per hour winds right now into Shelby County, heading toward Newcastle and Henry County. And eventually some of those winds are going to get into Franklin County and down into Anderson County as well. So when you see those kind of gusts, and again, Ben, you see just the little appendages show up from time to time within this line. So it's when, for the Weather Service, it's kind of like whack-a-mole when you're trying to issue tornado warnings for a line like this, because you get one of these little kinks to show up, may or may not produce a tornado, but it's there. And then all of a sudden the next sweep goes by, it's gone, and then another one pops up in a different part of that line. It's kind of what we're dealing with right now, but the one constant has been this little kink here that is now into right on top of the Shelby, Spencer, and Anderson County line, lifting its way to the northeast, and it's got that sharp gradient where we're likely getting in on some serious winds with this. We know all these thunderstorms that are out there getting in on the serious winds, but here's that little bitty indention in this where the winds are just cranking, and Ben, you could easily visualize how that could spin up something quickly. May not be the strongest in the world, but it doesn't have to be to cause some injuries or cause some damage.
There's definitely a little bit of a kink there towards the Wayside area. Yeah.
That is right on top of Anderson City, just to the west of Lawrenceburg, and rolling quickly to the northeast. The forward motion on these storms is incredible too.
Yeah, 60 miles per hour looks like is how fast they're moving, so that is just flying.
So think about that. Not only are you getting winds of 70 to 80 miles an hour, but the individual storms are moving at 60 plus miles per hour, which will put them on you before you kind of even know what's happening. I mean, you think, oh, I got plenty of time. That's 2 counties away. 20 minutes later, all of a sudden, it is right on top of your area. But again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that is out for this right now. So Ben, let's back this out and kind of reset everything to show folks what we are dealing with across central and eastern Kentucky. The farther east you go, the better shape you're in as of right now. But we only have severe thunderstorm warnings that are out right now into central Kentucky. But you can see how you've got 2 clusters of warnings. Right here, there's a little bitty break in between, and then another round of severe thunderstorms southeast of Bowling Green, lifting in along the Cumberland Parkway. Those are going to eventually impact Somerset, London, Corbin, down into parts of Whitley County, McCreary County, and over into Wayne County too. But the leading edge of this bad boy that is rolling into Lawrenceburg, I mean, on this broad view, you can see the bow without question. You can see that taking aim at Anderson County, the Lawrenceburg area, that holds together. It's going to clip Frankfort. It's going to hit the Versailles area, Midway, eventually potentially Georgetown and Lexington with damaging winds. It's starting to lose a little bit of the lightning with this, and not only is it losing a little lightning, what's interesting about this, Ben, is that the storms are moving so fast.
The radar's having a hard time keeping up with it.
It's having a hard time keeping up with the lightning strikes. So it's actually plotting the lightning strikes a little bit behind that. But you see all the real estate shaded in yellow. Those are high-end severe thunderstorm warnings. By high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, Ben, we mean the potential for 70 plus miles per hour.
70+ mile-an-hour winds, and again, you can't rule out that quick spin up that still could be in that.
Right, not a summertime pulse thunderstorm that pops up where you get a quick warning. These are ones that may have 70 to 80 mile per hour winds, right?
Exactly, that's exactly right. So.
And there's the overall structure of everything zipping on in. What I do want to show folks is why we're kind of getting in on what we're getting into right now. It is a monster storm that is up here, cold front right here. This is Arctic air. We got wind chills that are 20 below zero sitting up here to our northwest, which is insane. We're still in the 70s across eastern Kentucky right now, up into the Buckeye State, over into parts of West Virginia. So you got a major clash of the seasons that is underway with that line of severe thunderstorms that stretches essentially from the Great Lakes down to Louisiana as of right now. So watching these severe thunderstorms racing their way on into central Kentucky with the amount of lightning that we're seeing from these, as if folks needed one more reason why it's going to be a long night and you can't sleep. But these are noise makers, to say the least, Ben. Not only with the wind threat, but all the thunder and lightning that are zipping their way on through as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We're seeing that contrast to temperatures as well. Already showing up western Kentucky, far western Kentucky, low 40s now with our temperature. So it is certainly quite the contrast, and that's going to fuel those showers and storms that just continue to rumble across our area. Zooming into this now, let's look at, again, why don't you just look at this kink. It's still pretty impressive over towards kind of near the Shelby, Franklin, Anderson County line. I'm just going to pause this here and take an x-ray of it. And yeah, there's that kink still there, showing up towards Harrisonville. A little bit of a kink on the radar there, just northwest of Lawrenceburg. So,
and those are hard to for the Weather Service to throw out warnings on. This is the Grafenberg area here into essentially right just inside the Shelby Franklin County line, but it's along Interstate 64. And the strongest winds, the worst of the weather, is about 10 minutes from downtown Frankfort. It is just a couple minutes, in all likelihood, away from downtown Lawrenceburg as well. And when Ben, we can bounce this out, I want to show those bright colors again that are embedded within this to show how you may have some of those winds that are approaching 80 miles an hour. There are your warnings. That warning likely to get pushed into Fayette County just in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to take long.
Yeah, this is one of those where the Weather Service likely feels confident enough to blanket areas well downstream with severe thunderstorm warnings, because you know it's going to verify. You know you're going to get these big time winds that are coming through this area. But yeah, there you go. When you start to see those, Ben mentioned those tan colors, 70, 80 miles per hour potentially that are showing up, and they're aimed at the capital city of Frankfort, where I just got some Twitter video of the tornado sirens that were going off here into Franklin County right now. So a lot of folks are waking up, probably scared. The tornado warning is over, but you've got damaging winds that are coming through, and we still can't rule out a quick tornado spin up that would be out there.
I'm going to put this, make a little path here, and just
there you go.
Kind of show the communities that are going to be dealing with this here in the next hour or so. So there you go, with this, at least this really good wind core. So. Yeah, this is going to continue to move north I-64, Georgetown, Cynthiana, over towards Nicholas County. Eventually going to get on this in the next hour. I mean, this is a fast-moving storm. So.
It is. When you're trucking along at 60 miles an hour, the good news is it's not going to hang out long where you live. The bad news is it's going to be on you before you can really blink an eye, because these things are not wasting any time in zipping their way to the east and the northeast as of right now. And Ben, those thunderstorms, again, 70 plus miles per hour, and there's that severe thunderstorm warning that is out across southern Kentucky too. So if you're watching us now around Lake Cumberland, the Cumberland Parkway, and eventually into Somerset and London, where obviously, Ben, you know, we're 10 months removed from the devastating EF4 tornado that tore through Russell County into Pulaski County and into certainly Laurel County. Nerves are frayed down here. This is, chances are in your lifetime you're never going to have anything like that happen again, which is, let's hope that is the case, right? But still, it keeps you on edge. And these thunderstorms are going to race in there with some damaging winds. This is not a setup even remotely similar to last year.
Not at all.
Not even close. So
No.
that's the good news about all this. All right, there's the radar picture on the overall view where the line of severe thunderstorms. And if you just look at the line, it's not just a straight line. It's not like we just draw it on a map. Embedded within this are these little bitty surges. And within that is where you're going to get the strongest winds. It's a little bow. Now think about if you're shooting a bow and arrow. All right, you're pulling it back. Your bow, the energy is going straight toward the apex of that bow, right? So the apex of this bow is where the strongest winds are aimed. It's a similar concept. You just don't want that arrow pointed at you. And right now that arrow is pointed right at Frankfurt, Midway, Versailles, Lawrenceburg, and eventually we're going to get that into parts of the Lexington metro as well. So
eventually that gets to eastern Kentucky.
It does.
I want to mention this as well. We just had a new severe thunderstorm watch that has been put out until 7 a.m. For parts of eastern Kentucky. So keep an eye on that. Trying to get this to load here. That's the warnings. But
I'll get back there.
It hasn't popped up just yet.
It hasn't popped in just yet.
I got an alert on my phone. Yes, severe
Good deal.
thunderstorm watch that is now up.
So we've blanketed, in all likelihood, going to match up with that watch to the north. Goes until 4. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that pretty much covers the map.
Good. Okay. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. That specific severe thunderstorm watch until 7, never going to see the expiration time. Those storms will be out of there before 7 o'clock. Storms will be out of this area before the 5 a.m. expiration time on your tornado watch. So that is some good news. And then what happens behind that is you just get in on winter weather that just crashes its way on into town. So the severe threat is now across all of central and eastern Kentucky heading into the overnight. Right now, this is more damaging winds than anything else. Ben, any reports on chat from the National Weather Service on any kind of damage or anything that we have been seeing into the Bluegrass region? I know at last check, as these storms were racing before we had to go on air with this, last time I checked that you were getting power flashes in and around Louisville, and we had some wind damage in E-Town.
And it looks like a semi flipped over in Louisville on I-265, so that's what I've seen there.
Probably got caught in a crosswind.
Yep.
You know, and a strong southerly wind right ahead of that line may have sent that thing rolling. And if you're in a high-profile vehicle, oh boy, it is not a good travel night,
is it? It's not a good time at all, no.
It is not a good travel night at all. But that line is going to continue to race its way onto the east, and in doing so, is going to create some more issues across eastern Kentucky. So that's what the radar is looking like. The actual future radar is lagging behind just a little bit. This is what it thinks the radar is going to look like in a couple minutes. We're almost to 1 or not too far away from it. Obviously, it's a little slow because that line is a little farther to the east than this, but it's got the overall concept correct. So 3 o'clock in the morning, now the worst of the weather is to our east. 4 o'clock in the morning, that is zipping its way through Hazard. It's east of Moorhead and heading into the US 23 Country Music Highway corridor in the far eastern Kentucky. 6, 7 o'clock, that thing's out of here. 8 o'clock in the morning. And what do we have here? You want to talk about an extreme setup? Folks, tomorrow, from the mid-morning into the afternoon and evening, those are snow showers and snow squalls. There's even the opportunity for a little thunder to go along with some of those snow squalls tomorrow afternoon. So that's what we're going to be dealing with as we go into tomorrow. Just an impressive setup, and all of that is behind this cold front that is racing into central Kentucky. It had a blizzard on one side. You got Arctic air. We got minus 20 wind chills across the Dakotas. At the same time, you got temperatures right now into eastern Kentucky, low 70s, and western Kentucky wind chills are going below freezing. And this whole setup, Ben, while it's going to lose some steam across Kentucky tonight, what happens to it as it gets on the other side of the mountains tomorrow?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. And there's a lot of folks across the mid-Atlantic that are really on edge now because they're going to be getting hit with what this is. But little stronger as well.
Right,
It's just going to reorganize and hit at a more prime time for stuff to really pop
absolutely.
up.
So folks, bear with me. I'm cleaning up some old maps for you guys and just kind of getting everything up to date here. You get to, when you're live on air for extended coverage, you get to see it all sometimes. But looking at the reflectivity, they're losing some steam.
They're definitely losing steam. You're not seeing as much of a curve there as well, so
which is a good thing. You know, that's what we want. The worst of this is zipping its way toward Lawrenceburg, Versailles, and Midway as of right now. So we can go inside this and again, kind of look at it, check everything out. Not seeing the kink that was there a little bit ago, which suggests this is more of a straight line wind maker that is rolling across areas of the capital city and points east from there. And that's just going to be the trend. And eventually that'll be shooting right on in to the Lexington Metro coming up here in just a matter of minutes. And then you got a void of the severe weather to our south around Lebanon. And then we pick it up a little more across southern Kentucky. But even there, that thunderstorm that is essentially right on top of the Cumberland Parkway, rolling its way quickly to the east, and that's going to be the trend as we go through the next little bit. I want to check out the view from the WKYT tower cam because we got that thing aimed on the western sky. And this thing is 300 feet up above our head, so we should be able to catch some of the lightning that is back here to our west from time to time. But as we were talking, Ben, it's losing a little bit of lightning.
Losing a little bit of steam, yeah.
Which is the first sign that you're getting it on some weakening thunderstorms. So it is really good to see this line weakening as it gets into the bluegrass region right now. That at least gives us a little confidence that, hey, the overall thought process on this entire line weakening, the farther east it gets, is holding together right now. And that's what we want. We wish no ill will on anybody out there, but we've had our share of severe weather across central and eastern Kentucky. We could use a little bit of a break. What do you say?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've had it. We've gone through it over the last several months or so.
Take a look at this view out of the Frankfort area where it looks like our light is getting in the way of that particular part of the storm. Here's a view out of Georgetown where the storm is on its way. By the time it gets there in about 15-20 minutes or so, that will be a very potent thunderstorm that is making its way across Scott County. But again, here's what we're dealing with on your First Alert Radar Network. We have no active tornado warnings. I know, that's a good thing. Let's keep that trend going tonight. What do you say? But we have all kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings that are still out there with this. And coming at us in waves in terms of individual little bows on this whole line. Where you see those bows, the winds are absolutely cranking. So the worst of this may be targeting Midway, 460 between Frankfort and Georgetown, and then that extends down into Woodford County. So wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to get in on some pretty good wind damage out of Anderson County and into Woodford County right now. And the storm on the southern edge of this is trying to ramp it up just a little bit, coming out of Springfield and Washington County, heading over into Mercer County. Danville, yeah, it's noisy. Lincoln County, yeah, it's noisy. Likewise over toward northern parts of Casey County, just noise. Nothing really severe with that part of it until we get all of a sudden between Glasgow and the Edmonton area on top of the Cumberland Parkway. That's Barron County over toward Adair County, and that is rolling its way to the east. And if it holds together, Russell Springs, Jamestown, Lake Cumberland will have to deal with that. But I keep looking at this, and the beautiful part about it, you don't see any reds up and down this line. This is now more just severe thunderstorms that are taking place. Severe thunderstorm warnings, still they're high-end warnings, Ben, where you can get those gusts up there 70 miles an hour or greater. Could be some hurricane force gusts.
Yeah, you can never sleep on a severe thunderstorm warning, especially when it's tagged as considerable and the 70 mile per hour winds as well.
Yeah.
It's not just your standard 60 mile per hour severe thunderstorm warning. There's a different tag for this, and it's tagged as a 70 mile per hour storm. So cannot sleep on that. That's for sure.
That's almost hurricane force gusts. And what we're going to do, we're going to look inside this particular storm now, just to give it that MRI that we like to talk about from time to time. And the only little bit of kink that continues to show up would be right about here, between Frankfort and Versailles, Midway. Boy, that's ready to blast through there. So it'd be that little area, and that's where those high winds are likely just now reaching Versailles and Midway. Georgetown, batten down the hatches. You got about 5 minutes before the worst of the weather gets in there. The west side of Lexington around Keeneland, we're going to see the worst of that getting in there coming up here in maybe 15 minutes tops. So we'll keep a close eye on that. But those severe thunderstorms are racing to the east right across parts of Woodford County, and they're going to continue to pack a major punch of those winds that can top 30 miles an hour, if not greater than that. So to recap the current warnings that are out, as long as we keep the red away from this warning map, I think we're in good shape. Current warnings are out. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. They go from near the Kentucky Speedway, and as a matter of fact, just across the Speedway into southern parts of Indiana. Severe thunderstorm warnings all the way into parts of the Bluegrass region. Got a little bit of gap, and then we connect that again with warnings that are out across southern Kentucky. Here's that new severe thunderstorm watch that does encompass all of eastern and southeastern Kentucky. That goes until 7 a.m. Northern part of that goes until 4. Bluegrass region, technically this is until 5 a.m. Folks, it's never going to see the expiration time of 5 a.m. Not even close. But again, the southern edge of this across most of eastern Kentucky, that goes until 7. Between 5 and 6, I think the severe threat is pretty much over area-wide. That's how fast these storms are racing through. But it's been a little while since we've had the entire section of central and eastern Kentucky blanketed with a severe thunderstorm watch and a tornado watch. So the threat is there with this line of severe thunderstorms that continues to race its way on through. Northern edge of that trying to kick it up a little bit to the north of Covington into southwestern sections of the Buckeye State as well. It's amazing to watch. Weather's fascinating anyway, if you're a weather nerd like we are. But a setup like this, where you go from springtime warmth and record highs to all of a sudden just bitterly cold temperatures in just a matter of a few hours, is amazing. We've got a heat wave across the desert Southwest and parts of California, Arizona, hitting 100 degrees, setting all kinds of records out here. At the same time, we're getting in on a major Arctic outbreak across the eastern half of the country. From the Plain States, the Rocky Mountains, and east, you've got about as cold as you can get this time of year in some cases. And then across the southwestern part of the country, Ben, you've got the torrid heat that is ongoing. And what happens in between? Something's got to give, right? And it's a big storm like what we have out there
Something's got to give, and it seems like, you got when one side of the country is dealing with something, the other side is going to be dealing with the exact opposite. So that's
it's the what goes up must come down, right?
Exactly.
And when you're talking about the jet stream, that's indeed how this thing kind of works itself out. I'm surprised they haven't extended that severe thunderstorm warning a little farther to the east just yet. Ben, if you could check, just see if we had any reports from this particular line over the past little bit. Racing its way across Midway, right on top of the Bluegrass Parkway, Versailles here. And then you get into western Fayette County within about the next 5 minutes. That'll be out near Bluegrass Airport. We'll see just how stout those winds are as that thing gets over the airport. We'll be able to clock the 5-minute gusts out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen any new reports yet.
Good news.
Yeah, that's good.
Last I checked social media, I didn't have a whole lot of reports. So again, the telltale sign with this, what are we lacking, Ben? You see lightning?
Not even
much.
lightning with it.
No.
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, we're losing some of that lightning that is embedded within this. So, there you go. There's your severe thunderstorm warning. Ask and you shall receive. Severe thunderstorm warning now for Lexington, for Georgetown, goes up into Harrison County, Carlisle, into Bourbon County, and across the Clark County area as well. That's severe thunderstorm warning for Bourbon, Clark, Fayette, Harrison, Nicholas, and Scott. And that takes us until 1:45 a.m.
These storms are definitely weakening. Looking at what they are showing in the warning, it's now just 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. There's no tornado possible tag in there.
Yeah.
So it is starting to lose some steam.
Losing a little steam, but not completely losing all the steam. So that is important to remember. But again, this newly issued severe thunderstorm warning does go for the Fayette County area, goes into Scott County, goes up into Harrison County, into Nicholas County, Bourbon, Clark, and down into Jessamine too. Don't want to forget the folks here into Wilmore and over into Nicholasville, and that actually extends a little farther to the southwest, gets into a small part of Garrett County and sections of Mercer County as well. So I think it ran out of county names
a lot of counties
on there because it has
yeah.
so many counties within that particular one. But yeah, the warning extends back here to our southwest. So from Mercer County, Harrodsburg, through Wilmore, through Jessamine County, the Nicholasville area, Fayette County, Georgetown, and points north to Cynthiana into Carlisle. And Ben, this takes it essentially right on to the very end of the National Weather Service office in Louisville's coverage area, which is right here. That's where this thing ends. So we're going to look inside this storm, this line of thunderstorms, and even with this, Ben, while you've got just maybe a little kink, we're losing the intensities of the wind. You're not getting the substantial bright colors that we're suggesting those 70 and 80 mile per hour winds along this.
And that's what I was saying with the chat as well. You know, Louisville, the National Weather Service in Louisville, they're starting to notice, yeah, these winds aren't as strong as what they were an hour ago. So
yeah, and they're not even close at that point compared to what moved through the Louisville area a little bit ago. But, you know, we're still going to keep an eye on them. Obviously, we're now, what are we? What's our time here? 1 o'clock?
12:57.
So that warning goes until 1:45. Buddy, those storms will be out of that warning area about 1:45, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
When they're moving along at 60 miles per hour, goodness gracious, they're going to be in and out. And we're going to watch these storms as they get into Fayette County coming up here very, very shortly, especially out on the west side of Fayette County. But Ben, that line is impressive as this stretches all the way now from the Ohio Valley and points into the deep south.
It reminds me of a very classic kind of March setup where you got this line of storms that runs from Michigan all the way down the Gulf Coast, and you of course got parts of the upper Midwest dealing with snow as well. So this storm just continues to parade on and will continue to move through our area as well as we go through the next couple hours. Good news is, yeah, we're starting to see some weakening with this, but there are still severe thunderstorm warnings associated with this. We still got the tornado watch, still the potential there, but I think that potential is starting to go down a little bit. But yeah, looking at the storm itself, it's Lexington Metro. It's, under that severe thunderstorm warning includes Lexington, Georgetown, up towards Harrison County, Bourbon County, Nicholas County in this as well, parts of Clark County, not Winchester proper, but parts of Clark County into Jessamine County towards Nicholasville and Wilmore, Mercer County and Woodford County, all under these severe thunderstorm warnings. This is a weakening storm, but it is still a very strong storm right now and still producing some severe winds. So yeah, looking at this as a whole, looking at the wind field here in this storm, yeah, we still got some gusty winds in there. The one thing that doesn't help us is we're starting to get to the edge of that radar site, so that's going to make things a little more it's harder to try and figure out when it comes to those wind speeds because it's taking it higher up into
curvature of the earth.
Yeah,
you kind of miss out on that.
Right.
But again, the less lightning that we're seeing with that is usually a telltale sign. And Ben, if we could pull up there's a Keeneland cam over there in that show, and I want to pull it up because you can almost see a little bit of a shelf cloud that is showing up with from our Keeneland cam in the distance. Now this is across southern Kentucky where you've got the severe weather here rolling across the Cumberland Parkway. So Columbia, Dare County will keep an eye on that. Here's Keeneland. This is Bluegrass Airport, just across from Bluegrass Airport, beautiful Keeneland, where what are we, 2 weeks from this Friday? 2 weeks, I believe. Maybe 3. I'm trying to speed y'all up. It's that first Friday in April from the spring meet. But here's the view where you can see just what looks like the leading edge of a shelf cloud that is coming out of the Versailles area, out of Woodford County, and into western parts of Fayette County. But the absence of lightning with this is still pretty amazing. But it's going to be interesting to watch this camera as we get that thunderstorm to move right over top of it. Now, our guess, this severe shower.
Severe shower.
Severe shower. I mean, you can get winds with a shower and a setup like this that are 60 plus miles per hour, and that's what we're dealing with. But that's the view out at Keeneland. We got all kinds of cams, and sometimes just keeping them straight, Ben, is a task in itself, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, again, lightning doesn't dictate what a severe thunderstorm is.
Right.
Obviously, you know, if you have a lot of lightning, that's a good indicator that there's probably it's a pretty powerful storm. But that itself does not define what a severe thunderstorm was. It's those winds or hail or in those storms. So that's kind of what we're looking at now, just kind of forming more into these really, really, really gusty showers that continue to move now into central Kentucky.
So there you go with the current warnings that are out. All the real estate in yellow, those are just severe thunderstorm warnings. No tornado warnings right now. Fingers crossed that continues until 5 a.m. Severe or a tornado warning or watch, daggone, into central Kentucky goes until 5 a.m. until 7 a.m. across eastern Kentucky for a severe thunderstorm warning. You will never see these hit the expiration time. The storms will be out of this area, but way before 5 o'clock. I mean, they may be out of there by 2:30. Eastern Kentucky, you're never going to see that 7 a.m. expiration time. Storms will have weakened and will have pushed into southwest Virginia and West Virginia by that particular time. Now, this is an area where we've had temperatures that have been a little deeper into the 70s and even low 80s across eastern Kentucky. So there may be just a little case for some of these storms revving it up a little as we encounter that instability in the eastern Kentucky. But nonetheless, we're watching this bow that is zipping right across central Kentucky right now with damaging winds that are racing in from southwest to northeast. And this is showing up from Versailles to Georgetown. Nothing about this is overly concerning to me in terms of tornadoes, which is a plus. The bad side is it doesn't have to be because it can produce all kinds of wind damage, and that's what we're going to be watching out for. Harrodsburg, Nicholasville, Lexington to near Winchester, and then up into Bourbon County, Georgetown and Cynthiana, and then all the way up into Nicholas County. Going to be dealing with that as well. There's a break and then another line of some strong and severe thunderstorms here into the Edmonton area, Adair County, Columbia, southern parts of Taylor County, southern, maybe, what is that, Greene County, I guess, and then down into Clinton, Cumberland, and eventually Russell Springs, the Jamestown area. We're going to have to deal with those thunderstorms that are zipping on through. And I am noticing more lightning showing up, Ben, across the Cincinnati area. There's that break into the Bluegrass region, which is kind of ironic that that's where we have the warnings, and then all of a sudden we really fire up a lot of lightning behind the actual main line of severe thunderstorms here across the south.
Yeah, really, this is just turning into a really, really long line of storms that are producing damaging winds. That's what it's kind of resulting into now.
And the snows on the radar are not too far away from the Mississippi River. At one point today, Ben, we had tornado warnings into southeastern Missouri, and approximately 100, 125 miles west, you had snow squall warnings in at the same exact time. If that doesn't just scream, wow, you know, nothing will, right?
Well, yeah, and we need to pay attention here now. It looks like we just got another tornado warning that has now popped up into Russell County is what I have seen. We can sort of show up on the map here, but it looks like there's a tornado warning there that's going to pop up here. Yeah, tornado warning for Russell County until 12:45 Central Time or 1:45 Eastern Time.
Yeah, Columbia, Adair County, and down into northern parts of Russell County. Not showing up particularly on this radar just yet. But let's go in, Ben. It would be right here.
Yeah, there it is.
So there is our little kink that is showing up here into Adair County. So if we are to get a weak tornado out of this is one of those setups to where you see these hit and run little spins that try to show up within this line. So it is right here, right on top of the Cumberland Parkway. This is Columbia and Adair County. This is the Cumberland Parkway. So between Columbia and Edmonton is where that spin is located right now. And that particular warning would be going for the next little bit. And that line is racing its way off to the east and the northeast. So the potential here into areas more Russell Springs than Jamestown, because this warning is orienting itself more into Columbia and Adair County and then toward the Russell Springs area from southwest to northeast. That is where we have that particular tornado warning. So if we are to get a tornado here into Adair County, it would be very close to downtown Columbia and racing its way to the east-northeast and impacting more Adair County than Russell County. But here into Russell County, you're likely to hear the tornado sirens at any moment now. Likewise into Adair County, which is just outside of our immediate coverage area. But you know, in today's streaming world, everybody in the world is technically your coverage area, I guess, right? But Columbia and Southwest, and that's just that one thunderstorm, Ben, that's on the southern edge of this whole mess that has a little greater instability, and it's tapping it right now. So you almost have the potential for a couple little kinks on this line, and it's interesting to watch how they're kind of bracketing the Cumberland Parkway and heading right toward Columbia here into Adair County. That is where we have that tornado warning. So here's Sparksville and toward sections of Gradyville and the Milltown area and heading toward Cumberland from southwest to northeast. This possible tornado. This is a radar indicated tornado, and you're down here in the middle of where a lot of radars meet from the National Weather Service in Louisville, National Weather Service down in Nashville, Tennessee. You got another radar in Jackson into southeastern Kentucky. Another radar down into the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So you're kind of in an area where a lot of those radar beams overshoot this particular area, and it's why sometimes when a sweep goes by, you see kind of that little messy looking streak that shows up there. That's because you're changing now which radar may be closer to that. And Ben, that poses a challenge in and of itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, that definitely does, and we'll just clear this out here because it looks like we just finally got this on the map. Here's the tornado warning that includes Columbia just north of Russell Springs. This is going to go until 1:45 Eastern Time or 12:45 Central Time for Adair and Russell County. So that's the tornado warning right there.
Yeah, and folks here into Dunnville, into southwestern parts of Casey County, Liberty, we'll watch this, but the worst of this is targeting Columbia. So if you're watching us now into Russell Springs and Jamestown, tornado sirens may be going off. It is for the northern tip of Russell County, but this is fairly far to the northwest of where we are, and it is right on top of the Cumberland Parkway, rolling its way to the northeast into Columbia there into Adair County. This is been where we were watching the southern edge of this whole line, and the future radar, if you recall from earlier, suggested that across south central Kentucky going into the southeast you may have a little increase in that line in terms of coverage and intensity. And a lot of times this is right on the pinhead or the northern edge of where you've got that little bitty almost a bow there, and I've seen it happen before where you get something to try and spin up there.
Yeah, and I've just put in the locations on here and everything, and some of the spots that where the core of this storm is about to come through is 12:12 Central Time for Columbia, the Absher community, Dunbar Hill, Dunnville. This will look to get towards parts of Casey County here in the next about 20 minutes or so, and tracking this as well. Yeah, Liberty's also, not under the tornado warning in Liberty right now in Casey County, but this is something you got to watch because this is heading your way, and by 1:40 a.m. looks like that storm, the core of this storm, is going to be right over that area. So we'll see how long it holds together and everything. Let's look at the
let's go back in and look at the velocities
the storm
with
right
this.
now. And
I was looking at it just off camera a moment ago, and It's still got that little bit of spin with it. I don't think it's as intense as when that warning came out now, and that's what happens with these systems. Man, oh man, they could put down a quick hit and run tornado, and they're on the ground maybe seconds or a minute or two tops, and they're gone. Those are the ones that you really have a hard time forecasting for, because it's not like a supercell thunderstorm where you just track this thing for, in some cases, or in a lot of cases, hours and hours. That's what happened back last May in southern Kentucky when we had that long track tornado and that long track supercell thunderstorm. You knew exactly what it was doing during its life cycle. These, they're a little harder to detect, and that is why we have that tornado warning that is out here into Columbia, Adair County, and just to the north of Russell Springs into northern parts of Russell County. So we'll continue to watch this as it makes its way along and north of the Cumberland Parkway. If we are getting a quick spin up with this, that rotation is right on top of Columbia here into Adair County, and the tornado sirens guarantee they're going off across Adair County, going off here into Russell Springs too, likewise into Jamestown and folks living along Lake Cumberland. Now this is off to the northwest of us, so even though you may be hearing the sirens across all of Russell County, from Jamestown to Russell Springs, the actual warning is off to your north, and the actual, if we are getting a tornado, is likely staying right now into Adair County.
Yeah, and
So
looking
we're
at this,
watching
I just put a 30-minute loop on this, and you can see with the velocity how things have started. The kinks are they're flattening out again.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So that, I mean, it literally is a hit and run kind of thing.
They're there and gone. They're there and gone. All right, let's go. We'll continue to watch this storm. We're watching the storms been on top of Lexington as well, where severe thunderstorm warnings are out across Fayette County and the entire Lexington metro. We'll watch these storms. They're losing their lightning, so you're going to hear more than anything just the wind. I mean, we look at this, and I can't find a one strike of lightning with this as of right now, right? So that's pretty amazing in itself. But we'll go in and look at this too. The leading edge of that, it's more linear, where it's got some pretty good winds. And Ben, let's go, if you could pull up that Keeneland cam for me. I want to see what that looks like right now, because that line looks like it is right. Oh,
there it is.
There you go. That's how hard it is raining. And the cam is freezing up a little bit because it is coming down to beat the band with winds that are absolutely cranking. Next up would be downtown Lexington. If we could pull up that downtown Lexington cam, I'm going to step over here and see what the Bluegrass Airport is gusting up to as of right now, because that's the worst of that storm is right on top of the airport.
I don't even have a camera for right now.
Downtown Lexington. So. Well, maybe it decided to take the night off. Our tower cam will probably be picking that up. The current gusts, highest I could find right now in Fayette County is 43 miles per hour. Had a 51 mile per hour gust up in Owenton, in Owen County with this storm. But boy, look at that out at Keeneland right now as it races its way on through there. So all kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings that are out for numerous areas of Kentucky, and that lone tornado warning down into Adair County and a part of Russell County. But that's the view out on the west side of town.
I've lost the Lexington camera.
Come in downtown Lexington. Are you there? Yeah, here's the view from the WKYT tower cam. So we're on the east side. We're on Winchester Road here at the station. So the Keeneland cam is literally on the other side of 60. I mean, we are on the other end of town, out at Keeneland, which is almost in Woodford County. It's out at Bluegrass Airport, so on Versailles Road. That's what we're seeing. So we're going to watch this severe thunderstorm just race across downtown Lexington, and it'll get over here toward the Hamburg side of town very quickly. Not going to have much thunder and lightning with it, but it's the wind that's going to wake you up. So severe thunderstorm warning continues in effect for this cell. Let's go back to the radar, Ben, and get a traditional view and get everybody caught up on what we're dealing with here across the region. So we got all kinds of warnings. Here you go with the warnings into central Kentucky, and then severe thunderstorm warnings and that one tornado warning that popped into Adair County and a small part of Russell County. And that was for a quick little spin, Ben.
We just got another new
up?
severe thunderstorm warning in Russell County. So
Okay, yeah,
that one's
so-
for 70-mile-per-hour winds as well.
Yeah, so that goes for Russell County down into Clinton and Cumberland counties too. So Pulaski County and into Wayne County, you guys are up next. Likewise here into Liberty, into Casey County. We'll pause this and go in and up close here into Columbia to see what we're dealing with this storm that is right on top of the Cumberland Parkway. Chances are you're not going to be seeing a tremendous amount of spin with this because we weren't to begin with. But it's got a little more linear look to this thing, and then the winds really crank. But that little kink, it still tries to show up to the north of Columbia in Adair County.
Yeah, definitely got a little bit of a signature there,
Yeah.
but it's not overwhelming.
No, it's not a very tight signature, but again, knowing that we're kind of in radar no man's land down here, just a little bit, I don't mean that flippantly by any means, but it is where a lot of those radar beams are kind of overshooting this particular area. So when you see a signature that may not look as solid as normal, that's because you're maybe shooting more toward the mid-levels of that. It's hard to really get down at the lower levels, Ben, because the curvature of the earth, those radar beams, they just keep going.
That's right.
They don't bend with the earth. They don't curve with the earth.
Yeah, not the most ideal, but we got these radar holes in places, and well, the Adair County one.
We
of
would
those spots.
love to have a radar in every city, wouldn't we?
We would, yeah, absolutely. All right, going to go down into other parts of the storm as you head into Cumberland County towards Burkesville, where we have that new severe thunderstorm warning that's out now. And just take a look at that and see what we're seeing wind-wise. And, well, yeah, there's a little bit of wind signature there into parts of Cumberland County now. So it's going to take some time before it gets into Russell County, but going to show the new warning here that includes Russell Springs, Lake Cumberland, Cumberland City, Albany area also under that severe thunderstorm warning. This goes until 1 a.m. Central Time or 2 a.m. Eastern Time, as we're also crossing time zones there as well. But that's going to be the next 45 minutes that we have that severe thunderstorm warning that is out for that area. Zoomed out picture here. Let's go back.
It just
to
hit 55 miles an hour out at Bluegrass Airport
yeah,
for
that's
the
definitely
wind.
coming. Let's
So
take a
that's
look
where
at
we
the,
are in Fayette County right now. It's a 55-mile-per-hour wind that is zipping its way on through. That's the view out at Keeneland.
And it's coming down. We got that burst.
It is coming down, and I'm hearing the wind, which, we're under a 1,000-foot tower. It's actually a little more than 1,000 feet high. So it's always a little concerning when you can hear it when you're in the studio with the wind whipping through it.
Yes, yeah.
But after being in this here for 28 years, I've heard it a time or two now. But yeah, we're dealing with that. That's the view on the other side of Lexington, where
It's like the rain just coming down now.
where the
here
worst
in
of this
station,
storm is. Yeah,
trying to get that Lexington
and now
the downtown camera.
we
up,
can
but
hear it for the WKYT tower cam. We'll go to the tower cam because now you see the rain showing up on the lens, and we'll keep this because those severe winds that are racing to the east across Fayette County are just about to where we are here at the station. So you will see this camera in all likelihood as that 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gust gets to us. All of a sudden you're going to see that camera really start shaking. And this is not there's no reports of hail with these storms. This is one of those where it is primarily a damaging wind threat with a low end embedded tornado threat on a quick spin up, Ben. This is not there's no hail with these thunderstorms at all. This is more of a straight line damaging wind event from these thunderstorms racing into central Kentucky now.
yeah, and let's kind of go back into also the storm that's going over central Kentucky right now. Just kind of take another X-ray look at it and just see what is going on. Again, we have that severe thunderstorm warning now that accompanies parts of Scott County, Harrison County, Nicholas, Bourbon, Clark, Fayette, and Jessamine counties. But we look at this picture here and going to take a look at the zoomed out picture. We'll take a look inside this and see what's going on. And
Oh yeah, it's pretty good winds there.
there we go.
So-
Yeah, some good winds going on, but it is all pretty linear stuff. But
It is, yeah.
That is a good sign.
No real tornado threat with the line that is on top of Lexington. So what if you just notice this this switched over because now
we're in the Jackson radar.
We're in the Jackson radar because technically Lexington, we are closer to the Weather Service radar in Jackson than we are the National Weather Service radar, which is out near Fort Knox.
Right.
We're closer to that radar. It gets a much better picture of the Lexington area and certainly down into Richmond. But here's that line of severe thunderstorms with the change in the wind direction here coming in behind that front as that boundary. I mean, it is a front that is out there, but it's a certain wind shift, Ben, that all of a sudden, boy, those winds start to come at you from a different direction, and they are howling as they make their way now from Cynthiana right on top of downtown Lexington toward Nicholasville. Wilmore, we're getting in on that as well, and that's going to race into Madison County and into Clark County and Bourbon County coming up here in the next little bit. Nothing tornadic about this, but you do have all kinds of severe thunderstorm warnings. We called it a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's more of a severe shower because I don't see any lightning, and we haven't seen any lightning strikes with this for a little while. That showing up here into Harrison County, well, that's a pretty good wind. That is into Barry, just east of Sadieville, and right on top of Cynthiana, rolling on from 36 corridor to the 27 corridor here into north central parts of Harrison County. You're going to get some 50 and 60 mile per hour winds out of that as it lifts its way very quickly to the east and northeast. When you guys have watched me long enough, when I see a radar image that goes from absolutely nothing to all of a sudden just a sharp ramp up of those bright colors, that is always a telltale signature just on a radar picture that you're getting in on some tremendous winds right on the leading edge of that. So that's like, I mean, that literally is just like you draw it, and then you go from nothing to boom. All of a sudden, some high reflectivities there. It's a good signature for some damaging winds heading right into Cynthiana as of right now. And then farther to the south, the 460 corridor, Paris to Georgetown, been noticing a little uptick in the radar with the Fayette County stuff and down toward Jessamine County, right on top of the Fayette-Jessamine County line near the Fayette Mall, and eventually getting down into the Keene area, Wilmore, and Nicholasville. So those winds are really starting to pick back up just a smidge all of a sudden there into Fayette and Jessamine counties.
Yeah, just a little bit there, and you know, we want to take a look again at that tornado warning storm that is currently moving into parts of Adair and Russell County, just to see what's going on here with this, and we'll take an x-ray of that and see if this there is still any kind of there's a little bit of a kink there that's showing up.
Small little kink still there.
Small little kink showing up. It's, you know, past Columbia now moving into parts of northern Russell County. So something we got to continue to monitor. That's why they have the tornado warning. Again, these are pretty quick hitters. They can touch down and then lift right back up very quickly. So it's looking at we got another tornado warning. This is into parts of Clinton and Cumberland counties, it looks like. So I mean, these storms definitely are still trying to spin a little bit, and they're producing those high winds as well. So
here's Wayne County. This is Powersburg. There's Monticello. Here's Clinton, Cumberland, and a small part of Monroe. But Ben, take this down just into, because the spin's coming out of northern parts of Tennessee here. So it would be right in here. Let's look at the velocities with this and see what we can detect coming across areas well south of the Burkesville area. See, that's also an area that is in that kind of no man's land down here. But nonetheless, you got a little spin, a little notch that is heading on the Kentucky-Tennessee border county. So Monroe County into Clinton and Cumberland. Then you got that tornado warning that is still going around Columbia into Adair County and just north of Russell Springs too. So we're watching. I likened it to a game of whack-a-mole. Remember the old arcade game, the old video game, or whatever it is that you play where you're just boom, boom, boom. That's what the Weather Service is trying to do with all these little spins, because they go up and they're up for maybe a couple minutes and then they're gone. Yeah. So you try to get out a warning for some of those that you catch, some maybe you don't catch, some, and not all of them are going to produce tornadoes, thankfully. So this did update just a little bit. So there would be that little bit of a spin. I noticed we have issued now a severe thunderstorm warning downstream from the National Weather Service in Jackson, Ben. That looks like Pulaski County down into McCreary County and Wayne County. And that's a severe thunderstorm warning downstream from those storms that are back here to our west. So that does get into Somerset, gets into Burnside, Pulaski, McCreary, and Wayne, and will go until 2:15. So we'll watch that line of severe thunderstorms racing to the east and the northeast, just to the south of Lake Cumberland. So let's get the wide view set back up for folks who may be just waking up right now, hearing the thunderstorms racing into central Kentucky, Ben, just to show the traditional radar image of what we're dealing with across central and eastern Kentucky, so we kind of get everybody in the loop right out of the gate here. So we have severe thunderstorms racing through central Kentucky. They're across the I-75 corridor of the Bluegrass region, fading just a little bit to the south, and then all of a sudden they pick up the pace a little bit here around parts of Adair County, Russell County, where you got a small sliver of real estate in Russell County with a tornado warning, then in a separate tornado warning on the Kentucky-Tennessee border counties. So all of this stuff continues to race its way to the east with a possibility of damaging winds. This is not your traditional major tornado setup. This would be the hit and run weak tornadoes that can sometimes spin up. Chances are, most folks, chances are that you will not see a tornado, period. Only a small little sliver, I think now, of southern Kentucky has a chance to spin something up. But these thunderstorms still on top of the Bluegrass region, Ben, producing winds that are maybe up to 60 miles an hour. Harrison County, down into sections of Bourbon County, right on top of Lexington. It's amazing to watch this. All of a sudden, that line that was trying to race more east across Lexington, the worst of this is yet to make it to the station.
Yeah, not quite there just yet.
Yeah, it's going more north. It's going more northeast now.
And I feel like the
Bourbon
line
County
itself is starting to kind of condense a little bit north to south. So.
Yeah, and if you look behind it, you do have some lightning showing up with heavy rain now back into Shelby County and along the Bluegrass Parkway and over toward the Louisville Metro.
Yeah, that is exactly what we're seeing. I just want to take a look inside the storm again here as we get into parts of central Kentucky, just see if anything's popped up, anything new's going on. But yeah, still kind of just showing that sharp edge there. That's just about it into central Kentucky. But it sounds like to me now things are getting a little more dicey down into southern Kentucky because, yeah, we got this part of the storm that is now moving into areas like, still got that tornado warning out into Adair County, into Russell County, got another tornado warning into Cumberland and Clinton counties, and then those severe thunderstorm warnings that now extend to Somerset, Monticello, parts of McCreary County, almost to Whitley City. Just want to take another look at that as well, that tornado warning that is still going on into Adair County. This one still is showing. It looks like it's starting to get a lot better. There's not really much showing there. Of course, it's on the edge of the radar site, so that's something we have to also consider as well. And then we go down into this storm here that is just crossing into Kentucky now, and a little bit of a spin there, potentially, at least some high winds. That's kind of what we're looking at this point. So it is very... yeah, whack-a-mole, touchy-feely kind of go with these storms that come through. I just got the alert, at least for some of us, are in the clear now. Tornado watch has been scaled back now.
Good.
For some areas, including, our western counties, Franklin, Anderson County, now not under that tornado watch anymore. So let's see if it's updated here.
And that's a great thing because we're dropping this tornado watch from west to east as that line clears. So you'll see this.
Just yet, but this is going to scale back.
Yeah, this will be dropped off very, very shortly. And I said, Ben, this would never see the 5 a.m. expiration time, and I don't know that it's going to see I don't know that it'll see 2:30 a.m., let alone 5 a.m. Now, that severe thunderstorm watch until 7 across southeastern Kentucky, I don't think that'll see the expiration time either. These storms are going to move across eastern and southeastern Kentucky. We're going to watch, I think initially, Ben, you got a greater threat for severe weather into London, Corbin, Somerset, and Williamsburg, Mount Vernon, McKee. Then you do Pikeville, Ashland, Moorhead, or Hazard.
Right. And I want to go back to that storm, in southern Kentucky right now, or southern central Kentucky. Got a new severe thunderstorm warning that has popped up there as well. So this is kind of starting to get together. This is out ahead of that tornado warning. So that includes Casey County, Lincoln County, Danville, or not quite Danville, but parts of Oil County and into Garrett County as well. So
yeah, that's and it's that southern edge of the line that is flaring up just a little more now. Northern edge from the Lexington area losing a little steam, but the southern edge of this, and again, it's amazing to see how this is mimicking what our future radar said would happen tonight. When we pointed out that it was 1, 2 o'clock in the morning on that future radar, where it said that across southern Kentucky, you were going to get that line, all of a sudden it comes together for a couple of hours and intensifies and then loses that steam the farther east that we go. Here's that new severe thunderstorm warning. Boyle, Casey, Garrett, Lincoln included in this. That is Liberty into Casey County. That is just to the south of Danville. Lancaster were in this. Stanford, Crab Orchard area down to Waynesburg. Does not get into northern parts of the Pulaski County area. That's a different weather service that is in control of that. But we'll watch this. You're seeing the lightning increasing with this as well, Ben, which says that line is trying to jump back up one more time here across areas of southern Kentucky, where you have a little greater instability to deal with right now.
Right. Let's zoom in and just kind of take a look at the wind field and everything. And there you go.
Strong winds there, boy.
There it is.
Yeah,
right there in Casey County.
And by that we mean right here. When you see this, I mean, that is some intense.
That's the cutoff.
That's the cutoff. That's some intense winds that are making their way in through Liberty, coming up here very, very shortly. And that's going to slam its way into southern parts of the Boyle County area, Stanford, Lincoln County, and then up into Lancaster, the Paint Lick area potentially. And then eventually Science Hill over toward Mount Vernon will get it on some of this as well, man. That whole line across southern Kentucky, it's flexing.
Yeah, now we had the northern side that was flexing, and now we have the southern side that is flexing. So
yeah, weather is fascinating. It is amazing to watch, and especially how lines like this make their way through and how they interact with the environment that is out ahead of it.
Yeah, and now we almost have, you can almost kind of draw a complete line of north to south, the severe thunderstorm warnings from northern to southern Kentucky. So it is certainly still, these storms are still certainly packing a punch, that's for sure. And got some really heavy rain coming down, some bursts into parts of Harrison and Bourbon County now. You got Paris that's about to get in on some really heavy rain. East side of Lexington, we're hearing it a little bit on the rooftops as well. Some lightning strikes as well showing up into parts of Clark County. So, we still got a time for these storms to continue to cross through our region. And just want to take a look at this now. And, it's mainly just the heavy rain and some lightning at times. So that's good. At least in Lexington.
And we hear the heavy rain now. What's interesting, Ben, is that the line of severe thunderstorms back here, the lightning strikes are way out ahead of this.
Really,
into Clark
they were
County.
behind it at first.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting.
Getting lightning within this particular part of the line has been like pulling teeth. Not that anybody wants lightning, but there you go. The couple of strikes now showing back up into Jessamine County. And we go back, let's go back to our south and let's update folks on that one tornado warning that is out in our region, and then the whole area that is out ahead of that is under now severe thunderstorm warning. So that tornado warning, I think it's got, 10 minutes left?
It's got about...
Although...
about 10 minutes, I think. We'll just click it on it here. And
although the worst of the storm is just about out of that particular warned area. And if we do have any bit of spin left in this, it may be right in here.
And if there was concerning spin, we would already see more of those tornado warnings being, we would see a tornado warning in Casey County. That's not what we're seeing. So they're not extending this farther. And it looks a little more disorganized.
So let's hope that's a trend that continues as we'll watch these storms that continue to lift their way to the east and northeast. But again, tornado sirens here in Russell County, but it is only for a small part of northern sections of Russell County. And Columbia, we're in the all clear now. Your severe weather is over. It is to your east. We're going to watch the I-75 corridor now from roughly, now we got severe thunderstorm warning, new one out, Rockcastle County and Pulaski County. That includes Mount Vernon, just to the north of Shopville. That does get the Scientific area. It goes until 2:15 for Pulaski and Rockcastle counties. That is just a continuation, Ben, of the warnings that are out to the west of those. And I would imagine that's for 60 to 70 mile per hour
60
winds.
mile per hour wind
Give or take a little bit.
Saying maybe penny size hail.
Yeah.
But yeah, that storm's continuing to march its way.
And the overall structure of this line is a shell of its former self. This thing
looks a little more discombobulated.
Yeah, it
sure.
discombobulated. That's a good word, my man. This is, you got the severe thunderstorm warning that is probably going to go by the wayside with this as that expires. And then you got nothing but some heavy rain that is going to come right across Lexington over the next little bit. So if you love a rainy night, like the old country song used to say, I love a rainy night, here you go. Good sleeping weather. If you can keep the thunder and the tornado sirens away, right? To the south, we're watching the severe thunderstorm warnings that are blanketing this area in yellow. And we're just about to the expiration time of this particular tornado warning. And then you've got a tornado warning that is out here into Clinton and Cumberland counties for a storm that had a little bit of spin. That thing is racing its way quickly to the east and northeast. That's why we have that severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this into sections of, not only sections, but Monticello, all of Wayne County, the Powersburg area, and into southern sections of Pulaski County.
Now let's take a look at that as well. The Albany area is, getting the brunt of it right now. And I'm just kind of looking at some of these, velocity signatures, and look, you got a nice burst of wind that's coming down into parts of Clinton County there. Yeah,
and this is going to cause quite a bit of wind damage here, Clinton County, and then working its way. If you're watching us right now and you live along 90 there into Wayne County, you live toward the Powersburg area, Monticello, and eventually it may get up into Mill Springs, although it may be just to our south with the worst of this toward 167. But this is what Ben was just talking about. 127 here is rocking and rolling right now with damaging winds and that tornado warning that continues in effect for a small part of southern Kentucky as of now. That is essentially the most concerning storm that we're dealing with across the entire state right now, Ben, and it's right on top of the border with Tennessee.
Right, yeah, and I mean, we look at just looking at the storm as a whole, it's definitely losing a little organization, and I imagine this tornado warning here in Adair County, Russell County, is going to be expiring very soon.
Because the worst of that is already out of that particular warned area.
I mean, it's moving so fast now that it's starting to move into areas like
it's in southern Casey County.
Casey County, Liberty is a good amount of lightning that's starting to show up with this, and looking at the winds there.
We'll go into that area just south of Dunville there into Casey County. This is the only little thing that I see right here. Almost have just been that small scale, but maybe just a little spin right here. That is south of the Dunville area, right on top of the Russell and Casey County line. That's what is left of the rotation that we had a little bit ago coming out of that prompted that initial tornado warning near Columbia. So I think that's where the worst of this storm is currently located, right on top of the Casey County line with Russell County. Russell Springs, that's off to our north and northeast. But that appears to be, Ben, at least the spin that is left of what prompted the initial warning down there.
Right, yeah, that looks to be what's left of it, and we'll see how this plays out here as we go, it starts to move.
But important to note that is a severe thunderstorm warning that is now downstream of that, not a tornado warning. We'll see if the Weather Service down there or in Louisville does anything with it, because it is now essentially out of that current tornado warning that is out. Goes right to the Casey County line, but you can see that spin, whatever's left of it, is now into Casey County, moving out of Russell County and certainly out of Adair County.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, what we're seeing here, too, is yeah, the Weather Service is not seeing as much spin with this. If they're not issuing tornado warnings downstream from this. It's all severe thunderstorm warning. So it's a pretty intense storm, but it's lacking the spin that you need to see to kind of prompt those warnings.
Yeah, so far there's obviously a missing ingredient or two to get any of these spins down in the low levels to produce a tornado, at least so far. And by all reports, these have been radar indicated tornado warnings. So that's a good thing. We want all the missing ingredients, but it just takes that one, Ben, to say, okay, yeah, the radar looks like it's got some rotation with it, but it's not actually at the base of that storm making its way down to the ground.
Yeah, you can't sleep on it. I mean, nope. Once it shows up, you got to be on it, and you got to issue that warning, because again, as soon as you issue that warning, it can just lift right back up. So.
Yep, hit and run. I think that's how we described it a little earlier. Everything in yellow, severe thunderstorm warnings. That goes for. Let's see if we can run them down here. Rockcastle County, Pulaski County, Lincoln County, Garrett County, Boyle County, Casey County, down into Russell County, part of Adair County, Clinton County, Cumberland County, over into Wayne County,
and
there's
McCreary. Line right there.
Yeah, so there you go. And then you've got the northern part of this into Nicholas County, Harrison County, Bourbon, Clark, Fayette, small part of Jessamine.
So yeah, this storm is starting to get towards that I-75 corridor. For sure.
And once it gets to the east of it, it's going to lose a little steam. But this part of the line, that southern edge of this, is the most pronounced. There you go with a back edge of the tornado watch now, Ben, that has been cut off. That's what you were mentioning a little bit ago. And within, an hour or so, we'll likely see this area removed from that watch as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, good thing. We're starting to see some areas that are getting more in the clear of the severe weather. So it's a good sign, but more areas are still getting in on this, and more will as we get into eastern Kentucky for sure.
We still have that severe thunderstorm watch until 7 in the east. Not sure it makes that expiration time though. These storms are trucking, man. They're not wasting any time.
They're not wasting time, but be mindful here of the next 2-3 hours, especially getting into parts of southeastern Kentucky. You're looking at that chance of the severe weather and the straight line winds that could be associated with this. I mean, you still got plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings that extend from all the way up towards Harrison County down into, looks like now we have a new tornado warning that has just popped up.
So they've extended that
area.
into Wayne County and McCreary County.
Wayne County, McCreary County under this tornado warning until 2:15.
So that includes Powersburg, that includes Monticello, and does not include downtown Whitley City, but gets into a small part of northwestern parts of McCreary County. So we'll slow this down and we'll look at the spin that is showing up right on top of 127 here. And so the worst of this looks like it is going to pass between Powersburg and Monticello. So folks living along 90 here, we need to be in our storm shelters. We're going to start to hear those tornado sirens coming up very, very shortly. And here's that spin. And as we have been talking about, we're kind of down here into no man's land, if you will, where the radar doesn't give you the best view in a lot of times. But here is that rotation that is showing up, and it is ready to cross into Wayne County. So Monticello is right here. This is 92. And along and north of 90 and 92, I think that's where the worst of this may wind up going. This is racing off to the east and the northeast. And Ben, this is essentially now crossing out of Clinton in Cumberland counties into western parts of Wayne County. So
yeah, starting to move to that Wayne County line, and looks like it's going to be just north of Powersburg.
Powersburg is right here. Here's 1275, 90 is right here through the Zula area over toward Bethesda. And the worst of this is just about to get into Grape Creek, Hidalgo, and there's Powersburg that you see on the southern edge of your screen. This is Wayne County, and the possible tornado would be right here. Decent signature, Ben, showing up from this far away now.
Yeah, it really is starting to show up a little bit more, and we're seeing a little more indication of that. So here you go again. You got one of these quick spin ups that is showing up.
Right. So let's hope this loses its intensity a little bit. But let's go back on a broader view here of this particular storm. We'll just look at the reflectivity on this and what the normal radar view is showing us. And if you look at this, you can see how this thing is
starting to bow.
It is. It's bowing, and it has a little negative tilt here on the northern edge of this. And it is generally where you see this bow, sometimes right on the northern edge of that, on the pinhead, you get a little spin up. All right, where the southern edge is trying to outrun the northern edge, and all of a sudden it just sets off the northern edge to spin just a little bit. I suspect that is what is happening here. So this is aimed right at downtown Monticello. So if you're watching us right now into Wayne County and northwestern parts of McCreary County, you need to be in your storm shelters. If you don't have a storm shelter, the basement is going to be the place to be. And above all else, the one thing we're going to do, Ben, no matter where we are, we're going to cover our heads.
Yep.
First thing. First rule of Tornado Warning Club is to cover your head.
Your noggin is the most important part of your body. That's for sure.
Right. And most fatalities, most injuries occur from flying debris. So, you know, we got the hard hat here. Don't worry about what you look like. I promise you. This thing can save your life. Put on a hard hat, put on a helmet, put on a bicycle helmet, put on an old batting helmet, a football helmet, whatever it is. If you don't have something like that, cover your head in pillows and just when you're seeking that shelter, because this can be life-saving in many cases. So Ben, run down where this storm is going to be over just the next little bit.
Yeah, so as this storm continues to move to the east, it's racing at 60 miles per hour. Some of the spots that are going to be getting in on this rotation here, and I'm going to redraw this, but really the most intense part of the storm is heading towards Zula, Powersburg area. That's where we're seeing the most intense stuff right now. But this is racing off to the east rather quickly at 60 miles per hour. But the Zula community, the next minute or so, you're really going to get in on this. The Bethesda area, 1:53 a.m., 2 a.m. for Barrier, and 2:01 for Coopersville, 2:05 for Gregory. So let's go back into this and just see if anything's changed with the rotation signature. It's a pretty intense storm that is going down right now, and even that is already starting to kind of loosen up a little bit. So
and that's what you look at when you see this, Ben. You look at rotation like this, and it's like a figure skater. Figure skater pulls those arms in, they're spinning faster and faster and faster. Same thing kind of goes with rotation like this. When you see a couplet that is very intense and it's very small and compact, and you know you've got those bright reds versus the bright greens on one side, and they're right next to one another, you're getting in on some serious rotation. What you're dealing with here is something that's a little more broad, and then you've got just a little bit of some embedded rotation within what is essentially a line of thunderstorms down here that is now firmly into Powersburg and the Zula area, and is essentially, if we are getting a little spin up on this, it is right along Highway 90 here, and that will go right on toward downtown Monticello coming up here in less than 10 minutes. So sweep went by there. You saw just a little uptick again, Ben. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're dealing with here.
It's a comes and goes.
It comes and goes, right. You don't get, it's not a supercell thunderstorm like what we were tracking across southern Kentucky last May. I know, keep going back to that. Don't mean to open up some old wounds down here in southern Kentucky by any means, but it's a good reminder that just how different setups are. Setup like that was more of, you know what is coming. You know there's a devastating tornado on the ground.
That setup was clear as day.
Setup is clear as day.
This isn't as clear as day.
Yeah, you typically don't get a lot of setups like that around here, thankfully. You get more of the hit and run setups like what you're seeing here, especially with a line of thunderstorms. Ben, these little kinks, these little spin ups sometimes happen along a line, and they're really hard to detect because once you see them, then all of a sudden, 5 or 10 minutes later, it's gone. But right now, we've been watching this one long enough. It's a couple of counties away. This one, remember, the first warning was issued on this when it was into far southern Monroe County, which is 3 counties west of where we are now. So it made its way through a part of Clinton, Cumberland counties, and is now into southwestern Wayne County. So here is Monticello. Here is the Ray Gap area, 1258. 167 down here. We'll throw out all kinds of place names. Bethesda, and right along 90, you know, that's a populated area down toward Hidalgo. Those are the areas, Ben, that we need to be in those storm shelters, the basements, or you get to the center point of your home on the lowest level. And above all else, we're going to cover our heads. That is first and foremost. But again, get low, because the higher up you are, the stronger those winds are going to be. You want to get down to ground level, preferably in a basement if you don't have a basement. Now, you're in a mobile home, you want to get out of there. If you got a neighbor down the road, you can get there safely over the next couple minutes before this gets there. Go up, knock on their door, and say, hey, look, can I bring the kiddos in till this thing blows over? And hopefully they'll let you in, and all is well and ends well too, right? Because mobile homes been no match for high winds, let alone even a weak tornado.
Yeah, and this has now moved, still along Highway 90, Highway 834. Looks like we're seeing that's where the rotation is right now. Bethesda area, about to get in on whatever kind of rotation this is, and this looks to be getting close, very close to downtown Monticello. And going to run just a loop here and see, that general direction. It is generally moving to the northeast. So maybe the southern part of Monticello would get in on this rotation in the next couple of minutes. So if you're in if you're in Monticello, now's the time. Go ahead to get to your safe spot. Put as many walls as you can between you and the outside. Get to that lowest level of the home, and stay safe. Protect your noggin. That's a very important part of it. And, you can throw a blanket on you, a mattress as well. These are things that you do need to do, even for these kinds of situations where it is not as obvious, but it never hurts to be prepared.
You know, this thing is, the worst of this, Ben, is it looks like it's tracking on the northern edge of the warning polygon down here. So it is through Zula and heading toward, there's Merle, there's Cooper, and there's Monticello. Look how quickly this thing in one sweep jumped.
Yeah, it's getting right towards Monticello now.
So Monticello, if you're watching us down here, you got some friends, you got some family down here, call them, don't text them. Make sure they're awake and know what is shaking out right now. And that, again, Mill Springs, you're on the northern edge of this, but daggone, this thing is on the northern edge of the polygon down here. Monticello up toward the Eadsville area. And then eventually this thing is just going to blast its way through Monticello, and that's probably happening right now. Chances are in Monticello, we're getting in on 60+ mile-per-hour winds. Hopefully not a tornado, but that threat is certainly there with that rotation that is just about into downtown Monticello. Oil Valley, 92. Here's 90 snaking its way through central parts of Wayne County. Gregory's over here, the Span area, Hardwick. We're included in this, and 90 then starts to edge just a little farther to the north. But Ben, without question, the leading edge of this is targeting downtown Monticello right now.
Yeah, it's
whether or not it's
close to that area.
Tornado or not, you're going to get on some major winds with this.
Yeah, the very
that
least.
Is zipping its way through there.
Right, yeah, this thing continues to move and continues to push to the east-northeast. Going to draw another path here, just folks down the road of this storm, just to be mindful of.
You do that, I'm going to check the social and see what if we're getting any reports
getting anything. And we're going to draw a line here with this storm as it continues to push to generally the east-northeast. And over the next 25 minutes or so, Monticello right on top of this now. If you're near the Gregory area, Delta, Keno area, Alpine area, into parts of that would be into parts of southern Pulaski and parts of McCreary County. That's where this rotation is heading, and kind of the general rule of thumb here is looking at this map is it's kind of along Highway 90. You go Highway 90 through Monticello into parts of McCreary County. That's kind of where this storm is heading. So if you live anywhere near in east of Monticello, along or close to Highway 90, that's where we're starting to see this storm. If you're in areas like Burnside into southern Pulaski County, that is not where the most intense part of the storm.
Yeah.
This looks like it is not going to be obviously a concern for areas like Somerset, at least with the rotation in this storm. It's going to be now more focused into parts of northeastern Wayne County or towards the Gregory area, and then heading into northern McCreary County as well in the near future here.
Looking at the overall structure of this, you can definitely see how even in the radar image, this is more linear now, Ben, than what we were looking at just 5 minutes ago.
Right. So yeah, I mean it's that same story. It's the quick hit and run kind of deal.
Yep. And that's what we've been dealing with pretty much for the past 3 or 4 hours, all the way from parts of western Kentucky, I-65 now to I-75. And the rotation with this is right in here. It is just to the west of Monticello, or right on top of Monticello, maybe just a smidge now to the north. So the southern edge of that particular tornado warning probably were okay, minus the 50, 60 plus mile per hour winds that are screaming through there right now as well. So we'll continue to watch that. Ben, I want to broaden out the view a little bit just to give everybody a quick rundown of where we are for the entire region. Kind of reset everything to show you what we're dealing with. So in Lexington, now all of a sudden we got all kinds of just heavy rain. The overall severe threat for the Bluegrass region is just about over. I mean, the warnings,
I would say it's
warnings
just
have
about
expired. Over. Yeah, warnings have expired. Madison County and south, we still have that threat, more severe thunderstorm than anything, in that one lone dog of a tornado warning that is going strong here into Wayne County and into part of McCreary County. But I notice how the difference in weather service down here. Look at that severe thunderstorm warning in Tennessee. Look how far in advance that thing goes.
I mean, it's a no-brainer at this point.
So. Yeah, weather service down here, I think that goes from Nashville to the Knoxville, Tennessee area. Weather service office, they just said, you know what, we're just going to blanket this for the next hour out ahead of it. Good call, because you're going to get damaging winds. Probably could do the same here from roughly the Kentucky River, Madison County, and then south. This whole area could be blanketed now with a severe thunderstorm warning, and I think it would be safe to say most of it would verify in some form or fashion.
And what I'm seeing as well, it seems like the northern part of the storm, the one that's going through the Bluegrass region, parts of northern Kentucky, is moving faster than the southern part of that storm that's going through southern Kentucky right now. So that's also really interesting.
And look at all that heavy rain coming in behind this. And the temperatures are crashing. Western Kentucky's in the 30s, still 70 into eastern Kentucky too. So quite the stormy setup. But here in the Lexington metro, you're hearing the thunder, you're hearing the rain, it's windy. The severe threat is pretty much finished now. Frankfort, Georgetown, Lexington, Nicholasville, and then back down the BG Parkway and toward Harrodsburg and Danville. The threat, though, we got to still watch roughly from the Kentucky River, I-75 and south. That's the area, Ben, where the next hour the severe weather is still likely to show up. That's where the greatest instability is, and where we're going to continue to watch the possibility of severe thunderstorms and damaging winds. More of a damaging wind threat than anything else.
Yeah, damaging winds going to be the main threat, but I'm just going to, just circle this area
here. There you
go. And this is where we are looking now, hyper-local and hyper, future view. This is where we're going to see the greatest severe threat. Anywhere from down the Mountain Parkway, Richmond, along that I-75 corridor, anywhere south of Lexington, all the way down to the Kentucky-Tennessee line, and farther south as well. The Hal Roger Parkway corridor, London, Hazard, all in the next hour or two, going to get in on some pretty nasty thunderstorms that continue to get into those areas here. Let's look at the tornado warning now that's still into parts of Monticello, parts of Wayne County, McCreary County, and see if we have anything new showing up here in some of the latest scans. And really hard to see much.
Don't see a whole heck of a lot.
It's on the edge of the radar. That doesn't help, but
more linear than anything else.
Yeah. So that is a good sign, but we got to be careful here. And I would think also if we are seeing signatures of rotation, we would see an extension of this tornado
Yeah,
warning into
and-
other parts of, close to I-75. We're not seeing that.
No,
so.
we're not. And looking inside this storm, even though I know it's kind of out there in no radar man's land, what I would typically be looking for in a setup like this, I don't see. So, and I'm looking at this, and it just even in the radar presentation, there's been a weakening of the storm itself in the reflectivity, which would correspond in the overall strength of that storm. So we're watching this, and Ben, right now, Somerset getting ready to rock and roll with severe thunderstorms coming in here too. Now, I know, listen, down here, you're hearing word that there's a tornado warning to the Pulaski County line from a storm coming in from your southwest. This is not going to be a repeat of last year or even close, not even close to the same type of a setup. This is more of a noise maker and a potential damaging wind maker coming through tonight. Is it widespread severe damaging winds? Probably not, but some pockets of some trees, some power lines that may take a little bit of a hit, and maybe some roof damage for some areas. Doesn't mean it's widespread or everybody, but that's what we're watching. And Ben, you can definitely see that's just a line now.
Yeah, it is more just a line
Yeah.
of really gusty winds that continue to move into parts of that I-75 corridor, head towards Pulaski County, Somerset. Yeah, you're about to get on this pretty soon. Whitley City, you're not far away from seeing some heavy rain, lightning, and some pretty gusty winds.
Yeah, the
as
worst
well,
of that
so.
still looks like it may hang just northwest of Whitley City there.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's certainly a good sign. We got more counties that are continuing to get scaled back from that tornado watch. Looks like Woodford County, Scott County, Harrison County, Mercer County now have seen that tornado watch expire.
deal.
So
Good deal.
It's
So-
a very skinny line now.
As that line comes through, overall, the severe threat pretty much goes by the wayside, right?
Right, yeah, you lose that. It's always usually that leading edge that's going to be causing that that trouble, and now we're starting getting into more of just that steadier rain that is showing up into areas of central Kentucky now. So that is a good sign, but we still got some areas of concern, obviously, in southern Kentucky.
And what's amazing, we're getting more of the thunder and lightning now than we did when the actual severe line made its way through here.
It's been a really interesting line of storms that has come through our area, that's for sure.
I want to see if our Somerset cam, where that storm is just getting ready to roll through there, if that picks up on anything coming up here as it makes its way in to Pulaski County. So that's a camera that we're gonna keep an eye on, Ben, as that severe thunderstorm gets ready to blast its way on in to Somerset. So
Yeah, we'll be
worst of
watching
this
that.
storm is just a few minutes away. Notice everything moving along here, no problems, no rain just
That
yet.
camera's shaking now.
Yeah, camera's shaking a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boy, those winds are going to cross through there, and then you'll see that visibility go down. But yeah, definitely, look at that camera doing a little shake right now, Ben.
Yeah, it's getting that situation where the cool winds are coming down into that area, and those warm winds that are warm air that's currently in Somerset is lifting up, and that's what's sustaining that thunderstorm that is about to get into the area.
That is something to watch, that camera doing a little shake. And again, Somerset, that is a severe thunderstorm warning that you guys are under down here right now. And, you know, we were looking inside that storm, Ben, you can pull it up again, how it was more of a line of potential damaging winds than anything severe.
Yeah, and going back to the storm now that is down into southern Kentucky, got that still have that tornado warning out, but it continues to get scaled back. We're not seeing any kind of more warnings even issued out ahead of it. That is a good sign, but yeah, we look at this again and see what we are looking at. Yeah, really just seeing more of that linear kind of look, with it even down into the tornado warned area of Wayne County.
And what Ben's talking about is this, the demarcation
it's more of a straight line.
of the straight line here, of the winds that are changing. But again, you're not seeing anything that's a shear marker or something that's spinning. So that's a good thing. So I would imagine that tornado warning would be allowed to expire coming up here shortly.
That'll be about 10 minutes,
Yeah.
I think, until that expires.
Let's
so.
go look at the Bluegrass region, because these thunderstorms here into from Lancaster and the northwestern Madison County and into southern Jessamine County. It looks like they're trying to ramp it up just a little bit. May have some pretty good winds trying to show up again here south of Nicholasville. And I was looking at, as I was animating that off camera just a moment ago, Ben, those are shooting in from almost south to north now. So you got these little lines of some gusty winds that seem to be just traveling quickly from southwest to northeast. So that's what we're dealing with. Some pretty good winds from Garrett County up into right along the Kentucky River, and from Paint Lick, Lancaster into the eastern part of Jessamine County and into southwestern parts of Fayette County. Still some pretty good winds and noisemakers that are zipping their way on through. So you see the brighter greens here. You got a little streak here of some good winds, another little streak here, another little streak back here. So yeah, we're seeing those winds that are zipping in quickly, Ben, from south
just
to
south
north.
of Nicholasville. You know, you head down US 27 towards the Kentucky River into parts of Garrett County. Yeah, there's some pretty intense winds there. You got some more down into parts of Lincoln County there, just north and west of Stanford. We can take a look at that as well. This is all associated with the severe thunderstorm warnings that are out. And looks like
new severe thunderstorm warning popping
we'll take a
in
look
there.
at that sec, but yeah, you can see overall, between Danville and Stanford there, you got some pretty
Pockets.
intense winds.
You got pockets of stronger winds there.
Yeah.
Northwest of Stanford and southwest of Stanford.
Right, yeah. And then now let's look at this extension of the severe thunderstorm warning. Now we got this includes Mount Vernon, includes London. Not quite Corbin, but
part of Corbin, since it's in about three different counties down there.
Yeah, it is. We're talking about trying to get ahead of this, and that's exactly what they're doing here with this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, this new one is for Laurel, McCurry, Pulaski, Rockcastle, and Whitley counties. This now runs till 2:45 in the morning. So here we're looking at still 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Any size hail associated with this. Again, the good news is down into parts of Wayne County where we do have that tornado warning. It seems like the rotation it looks a lot, it continues to look more and more linear versus showing that rotation. And we're seeing that, on the radar right now. So.
Yeah, and that warning goes until, that new severe thunderstorm warning goes till around 3, is that right?
2:45.
2:45, so I think we had put the timeline for the worst of the weather between 65 and 75, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., and that seems to be working out pretty well so far.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is definitely verifying out time-wise for sure.
And then eastern Kentucky, as these storms get east of 75, they will begin to diminish even more.
Right, yeah, they'll continue to diminish more, but I mean, yeah, because we're still going to see some gusty winds associated with that as well. So
severe thunderstorm warning in the northern part of that, Maysville up into Vanceburg, into far northern sections of Kentucky as well.
And that is a lot more east than
that is
the southern line, which is interesting.
And you notice now how you have the warnings that are all from the Weather Service in Jackson and now Wilmington, Ohio, and nothing bridging the gap in between into the Bluegrass region. Well, I guess you still have a small part of Lancaster, Garrett County down into Lincoln County and Casey County, though.
Yep.
But that's about to expire, if I'm not mistaken, right? Coming up shortly.
Well, that would be, I think that's one of the ones that expires at 2:15. I think we got that tornado warning that's going to expire down into Curry and Wayne counties as well in the next couple minutes. So that's certainly good. Yeah, we'll look back at that severe thunderstorm warning in Garrett County. I mean, it's pretty intense stuff coming down right now. Yeah, that's going to go into, that's until 2:15. So, we'll just continue to see this move through. And
we can hear the rain here.
The rain is continuing to come down here in the studio. And, I mean, it's a noisy night. It's a rainy night. It's a stormy night. And it's going to continue to be that way across our area.
It's not a good night out there, no matter where you are. Had a 54-mile-an-hour wind gust, by the way, down at the airport in Monticello. That was recorded just a little bit ago.
Okay. Yeah.
So that stands to reason. I think most of the everybody along that line is getting 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds and some embedded areas of 60 plus.
And the good news is we're not seeing any kind of we're not seeing any kind of signatures that we were seeing, say, about 2 hours ago.
Right.
When these storms were roaring across the I-65 corridor, where we're seeing maybe 70, 80 mile per hour winds. That looks like that's gone down a good bit as well. So, yeah, I imagine this is just, we got another tornado warning.
All right, so they've extended this tornado warning now. This
includes
London
London, or just south of London, Mount Victory.
Mount Victory, yeah.
In this as well. Burnside is in this. Corbin. Let's just kind of take a look at this.
That's a fairly broad tornado warning. Let's slow this down. Let's go. 2:45 a.m. Laurel, McCreary, Pulaski, Wayne, and Whitley underneath that. So that is into London. Does not include Somerset. It gets to the Mount Victory area.
Right.
Let's go in and look at this. That's a really broad tornado warning, and
that tells you there's not a lot of
there's
certainty, but it's like, you know.
Let's go in.
Precaution.
Let's go in and look at this, and you know, this is a part of the state where if we're going to throw out a tornado warning, let's be way certain and see more than we're seeing right now. But I'm looking at this into Burnside, down 27, and I'm looking into northeastern parts of Wayne County. You know, and Ben, there's nothing that just jumps off the screen at us right now. I think this, you know, we definitely still want to be going through our tornado safety drills down here. So now into Laurel County, we're going to be getting the, in London, the tornado sirens to sound. You're going to get the sirens to sound into Corbin, into parts of Pulaski County, and into parts of northern McCreary County as well, and Whitley County. This is, we want to make sure, we want to do everything we should be doing right now in seeking that safe shelter in the lowest levels of our home. The lowest point you have is where you want to be for this possible tornado. Now, this is going to really bring back, for the first time, I think, in these areas, Ben, we're going to be hearing tornado sirens for the first time since that May Day back last year.
Well, again, we want to emphasize as well that this is not May.
It's nothing even close to that.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's something to still be precautious about, be mindful of, but it is not the same kind of look that we saw back just 10 months ago. But you know, it's still very fresh on people's minds. We know what tornadoes can do, and a perfect example of that is what happened in London and Laurel County. But
in such a broad tornado warning like that, it
kind of shows like, oh, there might be some rotation here and there in spots, but it's not a confined area, so I would call it a low confidence tornado warning.
Yeah, same here, and that's and guarantee that the nerves are going to be really frayed down here. So if you're watching us into southern Laurel County, the Mount Victory area, where obviously part of that area was hit just north of that last year by this tornado. I'm looking at this. We're looking at this. Everybody in the red here is under a tornado warning that is going to take us until, was it 2:45? 2:45, and by then this will be on top of Interstate 75. But this is it's not a true supercell thunderstorm. This is more of a wind damage signature that is showing up with this storm south of Burnside and down toward Whitley City that is racing its way to the east and northeast. So tornado sirens are going to be going off here into Pulaski County, into Laurel County, Whitley County, and McCreary County. And we want you to go ahead and seek that safe shelter. But this is a really broad tornado warning for a line of thunderstorms that looks more linear in terms of the wind damage with this than anything else. Burnside here along 27, that's where the worst of this weather is currently located. Ben, it's ready to cross 27 here into areas north of Whitley City in McCreary County, but that's going to continue to roll its way to the east, and in doing so, going to have some wind damage with this. And we'll stop this and go inside and look just to see what we can find with this particular tornado warning down here. And there hasn't been a great signature with this for a while now, but embedded within this, all it takes, Ben, is that little kink to produce a weak tornado.
Right.
And the potential for a little weak tornado, can we say with confidence that no, that's not going to happen? Of course not. This is one of those to where the confidence level of this producing an actual tornado is not the greatest in the world, but with that line, you're getting in on more of a linear look still in terms of just straight line damaging winds than anything that is jumping off the screen at us.
And what is being shown here, I think, I'm looking at some of the other apps and things like that, the radar. There is a little bit of kinking here. There's not showing well on here, but there is a little bit of a kink as you head over towards the Burnside area, but it is it's like we've seen over the last couple hours here. It's been very short-lived, and try and zoom in on this here. You can't even really see. It's right on the edge of that radar there, so it's really hard to necessarily see. I'm actually getting the radar signature from Louisville,
which is farther away.
Right.
But the multiple little kinks down there, indicative of essentially been what we've been seeing along this line the entire time.
Right. It's more what we've seen. This is not 10 months ago. Again.
No, it is not. And this is racing to the east and northeast. This is going to be near Mount Victory. Worst of this, it's a line. It's not a supercell thunderstorm, folks. I know you're waking up down here right now. A lot of us going to be freaking out. All right, we had to endure just a tremendous tragedy 10 months ago. This is not a repeat of that. It's nothing close to that. This is more of a damaging wind signature that is showing up and racing across this area. So I want you to seek the shelter where you go when there's a possible tornado. All right, we're going to ride this thing out. Feel comfortable in saying we're going to get through this okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to find that shelter. Basement is preferable. If you don't have a basement, you want to get to the lowest floor and put as many walls between where you are and the outside as is possible. Last thing you want to do is get near a window or bend that outside wall. You want to put as many walls between where you are and the outside and that possible tornado is.
Right, here's a good reminder.
First and foremost,
some of those safety tips. Of course, seek a safe shelter. Safest place is going to be the basement. Basement's always going to win the area to go to. Interior room on the first floor. You want to evacuate mobile homes and, of course, the head. Protect your head, most important part of the body. We look at some of the severe weather safety when it comes to taking cover with a tornado, places that you should take cover, places where you shouldn't. The best place is, again, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Get to that lowest level. Of course, the basement is going to be, if you have a basement, that's going to be your best place. But hallways, closet, bathroom, stairs, all not bad places to be as well as we continue to see this storm roll through some areas that are very, they're
storm weary now.
Storm weary now, yeah.
And obviously that's a part of the state where back in middle of May last year we had a deadly and devastating tornado. This is not going to be a repeat performance of that or even close to that. So that is a good thing. This is more of a precautionary tornado warning that is out from the National Weather Service down in Jackson, which is kind of an odd-shaped tornado warning anyway, because, Ben, I'm looking at this. It's like
the cutoff part of Knox County.
Yeah, I mean, is this just circling around Knox County? This is,
I guess.
Right. What we're dealing with this, listen, above all else, we're going to protect our heads, okay? That is the first and foremost thing that we're going to be doing. If you got an old hard hat, put it on. You got an old bicycle helmet. Most kiddos nowadays, you got a bicycle helmet laying around. Put it on them. And I think we just took a lightning hit.
I think we did just take
we did. Let's hopefully you guys can still see us. We're still here. But yeah, this is more of a damaging wind signature with a chance for a little weak tornado to spin up within this. And if there's such a broad area that is under this tornado warning, Ben, I think that's my biggest issue with this is if you're not keying on one, if you're just saying, well, anywhere along this line could have a little kink show up. That's been the whole line for the whole evening. But we're watching that northern parts of McCreary County that is heading to the east and northeast, and it's south of Mount Victory. and along and north of that 90 corridor coming out of Whitley County over into McCreary County. So let me finish my thought. We cover our heads, the bicycle helmet, the batting helmet, a hard hat, anything to protect the noggin. Ben, as you know, we talk about this all the time, that we get more injuries from flying debris that hits us in the head than from anything else. So that's why we say protect your head.
And
above
our
all
head
else.
is very important. You know, it is also, a lot of things can happen to the head if you
Right. Absolutely.
more so than other parts of your body. So,
and we continue to look at this storm, and you know, Ben, from a radar perspective, the trend on this is a weaker storm. It is lifting its way from southeast to northwest, and continues to have that tornado warning with it. It's the whole line itself, and if we back this out, Ben, to show down into Tennessee too, if we could put the entire level 3 radar on there, I think with this whole line right now, that's the only tornado warning that has been issued along it.
yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing.
I mean,
so.
everybody else is blanketing it with severe thunderstorm warnings, which I think is the prudent way to go here. But here is our damaging wind potential with this part of the cell that is south of Somerset. It is on top of the McCreary-Pulaski County line. It is racing to the east and northeast toward Corbin. But again, if we are to get a quick little tornado spin up, it may be happening within this current tornado warning. I'm not seeing anything that's overly concerning at this point. And if anything, Ben, the last couple of frames of our radar, it loses some intensity.
Yeah, and I'm even seeing that too, you know, looking at some of our apps and everything. The kinks have kind of faded out a little bit, so that's good.
Yeah, and again, I feel confident in saying this is much more of a damaging wind potential than it is a tornado potential in this part of the state, or to be honest with you, anywhere along this line right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. It's more precautionary, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll watch that little area in the northern parts of McCreary County that is heading into northern sections of Whitley County. But Williamsburg, you're hearing the tornado sirens. You're not included in this tornado warning. Somerset, you're hearing the tornado sirens. You're not included in this. As a matter of fact, the majority of this area is just going to be getting in on the potential for damaging wind. It's going to be a noisemaker. It's going to be a wind maker coming through. Folks, this is not going to be a repeat of last year at all. All right?
No.
So let's clear the air on that one right now. This is not going to be a repeat of what we had to go through last year. This is probably, and I think this is our first time hearing tornado sirens since that night. So the concern down here is going to be really, really great. It's the middle of the night, and Ben, folks are being jolted out of bed by tornado sirens that are blaring for this line of thunderstorms. This is not a supercell thunderstorm that is racing its way into these areas at all.
It is not a pleasant thing to wake up to.
Nope,
that's
it is
sure.
not. It's frightening.
It's frightening, but the best thing you can do is stay connected with us. We're going to continue to walk you through this, and if you are tuned into us, you know that this is not the same kind of deal that what we are seeing back in May. So, looking at this again, it's still a pretty intense storm. Rotation is not really there. It's just more the straight line winds, but it is still a pretty powerful storm. And we look at where this storm is headed, just some of the spots that are really going to get in on this intense part of this storm here over the next 30 minutes or so. Mount Victory, Bald Rock, Corbin, London, Arkell area into parts of Knox County going to get in on this storm. This is eventually going to make its way into areas like closer to Manchester, into Clay County, moving into areas east of I-75. So looking at this here, yeah, it's more that linear setup that continues to move into these areas, into that I-75 corridor. And we can take a look at this again, just looking at the velocity and everything. And yeah, it's just more straight line stuff that's showing up. So that is a good sign. We can take a look at some of the other spots that are getting in on some storms right now. We got severe thunderstorm warnings that extend from all the way, Rockcastle County, all the way down into Tennessee and into northern Alabama, Georgia. So that is a continuous line of severe thunderstorm warnings, with the lone tornado warning that is still out now into areas like Pulaski County, McCreary County, Whitley County, and also into Laurel County. So we'll see how long this lasts, see how long this continues to hold together. I keep scaling back the warning, and yeah, just looking at
the highest winds we've had so far with that storm, Ben, 57 miles an hour down there in northern Wayne County.
So it's back in some gusty winds. Yeah, and of course, yeah, that got picked up on the Mesonet. There's going to be higher winds than that somewhere else, most likely.
Right, and as a matter of fact, the strongest wind gusts that we've recorded since midnight on the Mesonet sites up into Nicholas County.
Oh, got one that's 60
miles an hour. And that was just a little bit ago in that line that is now up into Vanceburg.
Yeah, it's kind of just, it's getting more discombobulated, that's for sure.
So what we can do, let's go down with our Somerset cam, see what is cooking down here. Just some heavy rain into Somerset proper. The worst of the weather, Ben, is to our east on this particular camera, so nothing going on but rain. Now we're behind that squall line that is out there into southern Kentucky. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and look at the crazy picture. I mean, you look more zoomed out now, and we're starting to even see some snow showers show up in parts of Illinois now.
Yeah.
So that is a crazy sign for sure. And you got tornado warnings that are about 200 or 300 miles to the east. So
yeah, and here we go, making that transition from springtime severe weather, Ben, to snowflakes. And actually, let me throw a different radar on this, because you can see into western Kentucky a little bit of snowflake action.
It's trying.
So there you go, folks. You got tornado warnings in southern Kentucky and snows back here to our west. But we continue to watch this area of southern Kentucky. As we were talking, Ben, you look at this right now. That's a Boeing segment. That is some potentially some damaging winds going through there. Those are some big winds.
Yeah, big winds
that are heading to Corbin and southern parts of Laurel County. More of a damaging wind threat than anything that is rotating with this.
Right. Again, we just got to continue to remind folks this is not May 2025 all over again. This is a different kind of setup here, and it's more of a precautionary tornado warning that is out now. And that tornado warning is still going to be going on for some time unless they decide to cancel it, but it goes until 2:45 this morning. And yeah, this storm now moving into areas like Mount Victory, getting in on this now. Parts of northern McCreary County, just north of Whitley City. Again, still hanging along that that Route 90 corridor, as well as into parts of northern Whitley County there. And sooner rather than later, this is going to be right on I-75 between about the 15 to 35, 40 mile marker. Yeah, we'll hit the pause button on this and go inside and see what we can find with the winds, Ben. But south of Mount Victory now, worst of the weather is just through Mount Victory. It is heading into western parts of Laurel County, Corbin, and the south side of London. We are next with this, but we look at it, and again, Ben, nothing just jumps off the screen at us to say rotation. No. Nothing. And again, 10 months ago, it was jumping out in the screen. Right in front of our face, saying, here it is. 100%. And, it was one of those, you guys could probably read it on my face when I was looking at it for the first time last year. Well, this time I'm looking at this, and there is nothing that is just jumping off the charts at us. If anything, we're getting just straight line damaging winds potentially with this. Now, that said, until we get the all clear with this, we want you to stay in your shelters. We want you to stay in your basement if that's where you're there. I mean, what's the harm at this point, right? We're just going to ride this thing out until this passes through, and it is zipping through here very quickly. But this is way more of a straight line damaging wind signature than anything else coming at us. From Mount Victory, 192, along Highway 90 here, northern McCreary County, northern parts of Whitley County, Williamsburg, we're not in this. Corbin, part of the city is in on it. The other part of it on the east side is not in that. I know it's kind of awkward to say that, but that's where we are.
Corbin kind of split up there between a few counties. So the worst of this is racing its way to the east, but it is not the only game in town. Ben, let's broaden this out a little bit and show folks that this line actually to the north of it may be just a tad stronger in terms of that reflectivity now east of Lexington. All of a sudden, this is ramping it back up a little more.
It seems it just comes and goes.
It does,
sure.
from Winchester to Richmond, down toward the Conway area, northern parts of Rockcastle County. But this is making its way across Richmond. No warnings are out for this just yet. But let's just for curiosity's sake, let's hit the pause button. Let's go up. Let's go down this entire line and look inside of it. Just see what we can see with the winds that are with this. You see some pretty good gusts with this. Nothing that's overly concerning here into Clark County, rolling into Montgomery County, and then you kind of got another little signature that has some pretty good winds here between Richmond and Waco, Irvin, Estill County. That is down to Berea. That is barreling its way across the eastern side of Madison County. So Irvin, Clay City, Stanton. You got some big-time winds that are just about to cross into your area. Now we get into Rockcastle County, where we have those severe thunderstorm warnings that kick back up just a little bit. Doesn't necessarily get into Jackson County just yet, but noticing straight line winds with this. And if we go all the way down into where we have this tornado warning, you're going to see the winds, the velocities within this line been looking pretty similar to what we just looked at into Rockcastle County.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. So that's a good sign as well.
It's just linear, and this is rolling its way toward London and Corbin. So again, we're going to stay where we are in terms of those shelters. But as we said off the top of this thing, nothing was jumping out that was saying there's not a serious, significant tornado threat with this. I can't say there isn't a tornado threat, but there isn't a significant threat as of right now. So I look at this and I think, okay, this is just more straight line winds than anything else. Can we get a quick little spin up? Yeah, but that's the case anywhere along this line as it stands right now. But this is rolling its way into an area where 10 months ago, we were devastated by a deadly tornado. This is the first time we've heard the tornado sirens going off since that fateful night. All right, so I know we're scared down here. Just hang in there. We'll get through this. This will push through very, very shortly, and then we're going to be sounding the all clear. So just take a deep breath. I know you're nervous. You're scared right now. Hang in there. I promise you. We're going to get through this in a-okay shape as this line continues to make its way toward Interstate 75. Worst of this is passing through Corbin and London in about 10 minutes or so. But I look to the north of that, and you're starting to see the radar saying, hey, I may have a little hail up here into Rockcastle County. But there you go with that we'll call it a funky orientation of the tornado warning that just wanted no part of northwestern Knox County, Ben. But that line is racing its way toward Keavy, toward London, toward the Lilly area here into southern parts of Laurel County too.
Yeah, we'll continue to see it. We'll continue to watch this, and we say, oh yeah, there could be a quick spin up. Quick spin up is not an EF4 tornado like we had last year. That's not going to happen with this. You can never be overly prepared and overly cautious with it. It's still important to be into your safe spot, whether that's in a basement or lowest level of your home, in a bathroom, or something like that. You never can be overly cautious, but we are continuing to, just see this line continue to move through. Again, it is very linear. That is what we continue to see with this, and just continuing to take a look at scans of this, and we are not seeing really anything different than what we have seen over the last 30 minutes or so. So that is a good sign. But let's go take a look at some of the other storms right now, or at least go into the northern part of this line. You got Mount Vernon right now getting absolutely pounded by some heavy rain, some lightning, and maybe even a little bit of hail as well. Of course, got that severe thunderstorm warning that is still out for that area. And, again, we go up and down the line, take the x-ray vision of this, and you can see there's some pretty gusty winds associated with that line over towards Mount Vernon. And then this line continues to head to the continue more north on this line. We don't have severe thunderstorm warning right now into Madison County, east of Richmond, but still, well, we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning that's now popped out ahead of this, and now this extends into northern areas.
Yeah, essentially, National Weather Service in Louisville just gave up on the storms in their far eastern fringes, and they're hitting into Jackson's area. Now Jackson throws out warnings for those, and I think that's appropriate.
It's absolutely, absolutely.
That's 100% appropriate.
This is till 3:15 now.
Yeah, probably should have had those warnings into Madison County and Clark County as well. But yeah, that goes till 3:15, and I don't think it can fit all the counties on here, so I'm going to look at this map and we're just going to run them down, Ben. Montgomery County into Bath County, into Menifee County, into Powell County, into Estill County. I see a part of Lee County, maybe a small sliver of Owsley County that gets into Estill County, Jackson County as well, and I don't know if that goes any farther to the south. It looks like it gets into McKee. Anvil, I don't think we're in that, but McKee is, and we'll see the rest of these thunderstorms that race to the east. Farther to the south, let's check on that tornado warning again, see what we're dealing with here. Again, you're getting one little bolt of lightning from the line itself over the past little bit. This is just about to Corbin and London, and it looks weaker and weaker, Ben, the farther east that it gets.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we need to see.
And the worst of the line is actually now showing up to the north.
Yeah, there's
healthier.
The north is starting to kind of flex a little bit now. I mean, we got. Let's take a look inside this now into like areas like Mount Sterling, Owensville, where you got that severe thunderstorm warning. So we look at that, and
yeah, worst of this is right on top of Mount Sterling.
Mount Sterling getting it in pretty good right now.
So you got the winds that are all of a sudden now racing out of Mount Sterling. They're heading to the east toward Owensville, toward the Salt Lick area, 460 down to, what are we talking here? Jeffersonville, Camargo, Frenchburg, and then down the Mountain Parkway, Clay City, Stanton, toward the Red River Gorge, eventually down Slade, where we got one of our cameras down there. We may be able to catch some of that. And then Estill County, look at that, how it's essentially right on top of the Madison-Estill County line, and it is eastbound and down and loaded up and trucking.
Yeah, it is continuing to move. This storm right now continues to move at about 60 miles, moves at about 60 miles per hour. So it is continuing to race to the east. It's now becoming more of eastern Kentucky, east of I-75. This is where we're starting to see that severe weather show up. They continue to scale back this tornado warning now. It's now into, we still got parts of Laurel County and Whitley County under that tornado warning. But again, you just do not see stuff that is overly concerning right now. It's very linear stuff that just continues to move into that area. So, yeah,
a very small part of that is left. It's essentially
it's a sign. It's
for
a good
Corbin.
Sign. It's a good sign that this isn't going to continue.
Yes, let's hope that is a trend that that keeps on keeping on.
Right.
With that line as it continues to roll into eastern Kentucky. Now, that severe thunderstorm watch goes until 7 o'clock this morning across the east and southeast. By that time, though, most of the severe weather should be done into the mountains, but you still got, listen, if you're watching us right now into Hazard, up to Jackson, you got another hour before these storms are impacting you. And they're going to continue to roll through there with a damaging wind threat. Pockets of damaging winds are likely to show up. You can get some 60-mile-per-hour winds. Certainly doesn't mean, Ben, that everybody gets wind damage as that just rolls through there. That's not going to be the case, but some pockets of wind damage will show up from time to time.
Right, and again, you can't rule out that occasional spin up, but we're not talking about, blockbuster stuff here.
No, we got about 7 more minutes on the tornado warning that will be coming out here, or set to expire, coming up here in just a matter of a few minutes. So let's hope that is a trend that we continue to see.
Yeah, and kind of continue to see more reports of just some downed trees here and there and things like that. That's just all, indicative of straight line winds that continue to march through.
Yeah, and now, I'm looking back at the history of these storms to our west. We're getting some damage reports out of Grayson County, the Litchfield area over into Hardin County. near E-Town from where those storms were much stronger when they started those initial tornado warnings in those areas, where you had much greater tornadic look on radar than what we're dealing with now.
Right, yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, it's gonna take time to get some reports as well. You know, obviously it's 2:30 in the morning, so we're not gonna see all these reports come in until we see more daylight as we get into tomorrow morning. But I mean, yeah, we'll have to see how this continues to grow on.
And looking at the winds, we had a 47-mile-per-hour gust with that line of thunderstorms as it made its way across northern parts of Pulaski County down there. Kentucky Mesonet site recorded that 47-mile-per-hour gust. 57, though, still the peak wind gust that we found with that line in southern Kentucky down into Wayne County from a little earlier. And yeah, that's much more linear, and I see they've extended that warning now.
They just extended that warning now. That's, yeah, severe thunderstorm warning includes Bell, Clay, Jackson, Knox, Laurel, Owsley counties until 3:30. And yeah, it's again 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, maybe even seeing a little bit of hail associated with this as well. So it's just going to keep on keeping on as it roars into parts of eastern Kentucky.
We're looking at temperatures at 70 degrees right now into Knox County, into Barberville, and into western Kentucky, it's in the upper 30s already.
Yeah, we're going to continue to see that contrast. And again, you know,
with a wind chill of 28.
4 or 5 hours from now, a lot of us are going to be, yeah, in the 30s and 40s as well. So,
yeah, as long whatever will end any severe weather threat, I am here for it.
Yeah, it's definitely been you know, we had a really nice day today, and it's a little bit eventful overnight.
Yeah.
We've had a long overnight with these storms that continue to come through, but it could be worse.
Yeah, and upstairs, I don't know if we can get the power outage map to maybe show, but we have almost 33,000 customers now without power. I'm seeing pretty good outage in Wayne County, where you got about 1,800 without power and almost 2,000 without power into Pulaski County. So that would be where we've had the core of those stronger winds down there into southern Kentucky.
Right, yep.
Yeah, if we got that power map, we can take a look at this here in just a moment. But yeah, there you go. You see in the southern Kentucky there, where you've got a little greater concentration of some outages showing up. That would be into Wayne County, and there's Pulaski County, and then down into Clinton County. And farther to the northwest, you see all those counties, Grayson County, Hardin County, where we had the initial wave of severe thunderstorms and possible tornadoes out for those areas, and where we've had quite a few damage reports coming out of those areas. And you look at the customers out, not people, but customers, 32,436 right now without juice across the bluegrass state of Kentucky, and that you know, that may continue to grow a little bit as we make our way into the overnight hours. So back to the radar picture, and that line of severe thunderstorms rolling east of Lexington, rolling east of the metro, and we've got that tornado warning that is set to expire coming up in 2 minutes from right now. That is just for a small sliver of southern parts of Laurel County. That's going to continue to make its way through. But Ben, looking at how they've just blanketed that region with a severe thunderstorm warning, I feel safe that they're going to let that tornado warning go by the wayside.
Yeah, I think so. And again, we can't rule out time and time of a quick spin up or some of those signatures showing up. But as this line of storms continues to head to the east, that's going to continue to become less and less likely for that happens. We are starting to work into the overnight, so that is it's helping us out a little bit as we get into these very early hours of the morning here, Monday morning. So core of that storm is now moving along I-75 right now, pretty much hugging the I-75 corridor from London down towards Corbin. You're probably getting some pretty intense wind gusts right now, some pretty intense rain. But
still got a nice bow there.
It's trying to bow a little bit.
From Mount Vernon to, notice how that extends from Mount Vernon to Corbin and London, and then back toward the southwest a little more toward Williamsburg. So right at the apex of that is where you're going to get the strongest winds that may be up there 50 to 60 miles per hour.
So the bottom line is
stronger.
Yeah, if you're in southeastern Kentucky, you got couple hours here. It's going to be pretty intense with these storms that come through. But again, that severe threat continues to go down as these storms continue to move to the east, and that's exactly what we expected. You know, we've been talking about these threats for the past few days, west to east. Those threats go down. So that's what. That is what we're starting to see here.
And we continue to watch the cold air surging into western Kentucky, where a few snowflakes may very well start to fly shortly along the Ohio River out there, where we started out the evening with the first tornado warnings around Paducah and temperatures in the 70s, and now they're into the mid and upper 30s with the wind chill in the 20s as we say goodbye to our tornado warning there into southern Kentucky. What is left now are severe thunderstorm warnings. We're going to continue to watch this, Ben, right on through the overnight. Alexa Minton over here joining us here very, very shortly. She's in and ready to go for WKYT this morning, which will be starting up very, very shortly. And obviously, we're going to stay here tonight and watch everything. And now that that tornado warning has expired, we will get back to some programming. And if we get any additional warnings of a tornado warning or some new information, we'll cut back in and stay on the air. But until then, we're just going to watch things. And if we get any additional information, we'll break in and let you guys know. Appreciate you being with us tonight.
We now join our regularly scheduled program already in progress.
Good morning, everyone. We have been tracking this active severe threat all evening long. It's First Alert meteorologist Alexa Minton here, and I wanted to give you guys an update as we head a little bit later in our morning hours. The good news is no tornado warnings at this moment in time, but still some pretty noisy storms for our easternmost counties. You can see a line of severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued. If you're in areas like Paintsville or even parts of Pikeville and Jenkins, it's headed in your direction next. We are seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings stretch all the way towards the state line. Right now, some of those severe thunderstorm warnings are set to last at least until we're talking towards 4:30 a.m. Breathitt, Floyd, Knott, Magoffin counties, even over up towards our friends closer farther north. We've got Boyd, Cable, Carter, Greenup, Lawrence, and Wayne counties. We are also seeing a severe thunderstorm warning over for our friends in parts of Elliott, Johnson, Magoffin. You can see all those lasting 4:30 to parts of 4:45 in the morning. Again, these noisy storms still maintaining some strength. They spurred all those severe thunderstorm warnings we saw back along I-75 earlier this morning, and they did spur quite a few tornado warnings farther south. We've heard a lot of reports of some really strong wind gusts. Right now, the Kentucky Mesonet was saying some of the strongest wind gusts happened for our friends farther south across the state. Your peak wind gusts since midnight have a strong wind gust for our friends out in Powell County, 57 miles per hour. Same down in parts of Wayne County. Again, we are still tracking a severe thunderstorm warning as it stretches across the state. Right now, it's almost pushing out of eastern Kentucky and eastern Kentucky areas like, again, Hazard, Magoffin County, parts of Pike County. Wouldn't be surprised if it gets extended into your area. Paintsville area, you'll need to be alert. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning. Behind it is coming in some heavy wind. We're just now heading out of the heavy wind here in Lexington. They've allowed that severe thunderstorm watch to expire for most of the state, still active again for those easternmost counties. That wind advisory is going to stay active through 7 and 8 in the morning for our skies. Again, the noisiest action is just now pushing into eastern Kentucky. Heavy rain is wrapping up here in central Kentucky, and what we've got on the backside of this system is some really cold air rushing in. Going to point out some areas once again. We got parts of Letcher County stretching up through our friends just headed into the Pikeville area. Again, I wouldn't be surprised Pikeville and Pike County area if you see that severe thunderstorm warning crash in within the next 30 minutes or so. Paintsville, you're about to get pretty noisy as that line pushes in. They're coming in with some stronger wind gusts as well. Back edge of this system wrapping around with snow shower chances. That's what's next in our conversation. Our friends out in western Kentucky, they're already down in the 30s for their outlook. Right now, we're still in the 50s and upper 60s, but it's about to be a pretty active day where those temperatures keep crashing. So make sure you stick with us here on WKYT Mornings. Again, I'm going to be there keeping y'all updated as we track all the latest on this pretty inclement weather pattern. I know it was a noisy overnight. I know a lot of people's heard those tornado warnings, so keep us up to date with any damage you receive. We're going to keep you up to date about that forecast and that radar. Again, for those easternmost most counties, stretching really from Ashland down through Prestonsburg, Paintsville. Keep counting Pikeville in the mix. They don't have a severe thunderstorm warning yet, but Pike County should see one soon. And then all the way down towards Harlan on the state line, severe thunderstorm warnings lining up across the state, followed up again by that heavy rain. Our wind advisory stays in effect through 7 and 8 a.m. for a lot of counties. Again, you'll get another update from me here at WKYT Mornings starting at 4:30, so stick with us right around then. For now, stay safe, everyone. We'll keep you all updated.
We now join our regularly scheduled program all